I'm down with that, Joe.
Good,
but you've got to try some key lime pie if you're ever down in Florida, Joe. Trust me, it's life-changing. Let's go to the midday. It's learn to trade and learn to eat pastries.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade During the Midday. That is your boy Joey Options, and in addition to not liking apple pie or any type of pie or cookies, he's never sold anything on Facebook Marketplace. That may not have anything to do with food, but it strikes me in the wrong area, and I don't like it. I'm just joking.
I told you, I'm a donator, man. I'm a donator, man. Come on.
Shout out to everybody, guys. Thank you for joining Joe and I on this great Monday. It is a beautiful day here in Toronto. I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Shout out to the world's greatest mod, Kahlua, G-Talk, Fiddleback. Stock or put. I do like that. Haitam Yasan. We got Abhishek. I beat up a guy in high school named Abhishek. Derek Thompson, Phil Rich, Julie B, BJZ, the Corleone family. How about 1320 Wolf? Meta Trader, Racer X9, and Mohammed Mukati. We got Kenny D. We got Tiago, the Evolution Trader with Mike Jacques. Okay, I like that. Joseph, what's up to you, my man? We got Sixto V, Stuart Stevenson, Etienne, Native New York. Shame, he says. I agree there. Well echoed there. Kirk D, DJ Reski, Charlie Card, SBP Trader. How about Cobra? How about Brit and... Oh, I'm not saying that name. That's going to stay on the blocked list. Sean Drake, Antoine, Liam, Frank Hong, Andre Brooks, Escape Planet, Sports and Stonks. I love that. Apex House Cat. That's a good one right there. We got Riyadh. We got Mentally Unemployable. Rev Boost, Apex House Cat again, Normal Special. I like that, Normal Special. One more. We got Bugsy, I lied. Two more. And Venado. Shout out to everybody. Thank you for joining Joe and I again in the midday over here. Joseph.
Yes, sir.
Anything we want to mention before we jump?
Yeah. Let's get into a couple of things here. We know the quantum space is most definitely in play here today, guys. Sorry, just reading some of the chats. So we've taken 3 stabs at this trade. You can see that we entered in first, and then what do I talk about it all the time, just adding to those positions, especially when they're working. So just free rolling using unrealized gains. That all obviously lifts your stop up. I only took about 50% off here, unfortunately, and then we got stopped out break even. Same thing about around here, only about 33% stopped out break even. And then as I'm about to put in another bid here, it comes right back against me, and then we get stopped out break even because this downtrend was not looking too good. We have a lesson to go over here, guys, but I want to go over the top performing sectors this morning. And the majority of us are sitting in the green. So in first place, we got the real estate sector up about 1.6% there, guys. Consumer staples sitting in second there on the show slot, 1.3%. Energy up about 1.12. And then from third last to last, we got the communication services up about 0.4. Technology relatively flat, only up about 0.02% right there, and the consumer discretionary up about 1/3, or down about 1/3 there, guys. So that is the top performing. Consumer discretionary being the weaker one, being led by Tesla once again. So not a good look. I wasn't too sure about this rally being sustained, and it came into play here. So selling in Tesla, not a good look. Want to get out of it, want to do a little rotation, and that's going to be the game plan. But we got a hot lesson today, guys. Happy Monday. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Let's get right into it.
All right, Joseph, we are talking about the gap and go strategy again today. A couple more lessons left on this bad boy. So just to kind of reiterate, the gap and go strategy thrives on strong price movements. But what if you want to avoid the initial frenzy and secure a potentially better entry price? So price target entry, a variation of what we call the gap and go strategy, offers that solution. So this lesson explores how to set price targets and strategically enter trades based on them. So let's get right down to business, baby. If I can find the mouse over here, there we go. The challenge of the entry. So the standard gap and go strategy, as we discussed last week, involves buying or selling at the open of a gap. Okay, the gap, again, just to reiterate, is the difference between the closing price on the previous day and the opening price on the following day. Sometimes we gap up, sometimes we gap down, and you're just looking for the variance. You can take the percentage variance, the dollar variance, whatever. That's what we're looking at, the difference between the closing print and the opening print the following day. So the standard gap and go strategy often involves buying or selling at the open of a gap, aiming to capitalize on the anticipated trend. However, this approach has drawbacks. Number one, typically you might get an unfavorable entry price. So early buying might lead to a higher entry price than is necessary, especially if there are support levels that make sense to pick it up off. And there's also the issue of market volatility. The opening moments can be quite volatile. We all know how that 9:30 to 10 a.m. time slot in trading can be. So think just about that. So it makes it difficult to assess the true direction of the trend, whether we're going to move up or down. Sometimes you'll hear like the boys, there'll be $5 in the money on one trade, and then literally 30 seconds later, they're flat or they're negative on it. The open is a wild time. Things are zigging, things are zagging. And there's also a little bit of a lack of confirmation. Buying right at the top runs the risk of a false breakout or a lack of continuation in the move. And we know that is an ever-present danger in trading, these false breakouts and false breakdowns. So the price target entry to the rescue, so to speak. So price target entry addresses these concerns that we outlined above by incorporating a specific price target for your entry rather than simply buying at the open. And here's the process. Step number one, you want to identify the gap, right? So find a stock with a significant price gap up or a gap down at the open, accompanied by high volume. How you determine what is high volume, you may compare it to volume during that time on the previous trading day. You could look at relative volume, but I'd submit to you by, 9:30, by 10 o'clock, you may not be where you need to be in terms of having more than higher than one relative volume, right? Because usually you need the trading day to develop. So make your appropriate comparisons with what constitutes high volume or low volume given that time of day. So that's step number one. Step number two, analyze the trend. Use technical analysis to confirm the intended direction of the trend. You're looking here for support indicators like moving averages and trend lines that are pointing up or pointing down in whatever direction you have a bias on that day. So number one, you identify the gap. Number two, you want to analyze the trend. Step number three, set your target. So based on your analysis and risk tolerance, determine a price target slightly above that bullish gap or below that bearish gap, because remember, we're talking about gappers here, right? For the opening price, the target represents your ideal entry point, okay? And then step number four, you're placing your order, right? Don't chase the market price. Instead, place what I would suggest to be a limit order at your chosen target price. I rarely ever, if ever, I should say, use market orders. This ensures you enter the trade if the price reaches your desired level and not before or after that price. Well, after it could continue to go down. So the benefits of the price target entry, number one, potentially better entry price. By waiting for that pullback on the gapper, you might get a lower entry price compared to buying at the open. You also help reduce your risk somewhat. You avoid the initial volatility of the gap, potentially limiting your initial risk. Again, we've talked about the lot of volatility that takes place typically within the first half an hour. And discipline and patience, right? This approach enforces discipline and patience, forcing you to wait for confirmation of the trend before entering. And last but not least, here, levels. Waiting to enter the level or waiting to enter the trade gives you a better sense of what levels the stock is respecting and what areas might make sense for stop losses and profit takers. So you can kind of gauge an intraday high and intraday low, at least in the first half an hour. So you can kind of understand, oh, the sellers are over here. They seem to be selling at 215. Okay, the buyers seem to be buying at 210. Whatever it is, okay? So just here's one consideration you can think of. Some considerations I should say you should consider before entering these trades. Number one, missed opportunities. The price might not reach your target, causing you to miss the trade entirely. That's part and parcel of the game, especially if you're going to insist on a level that has to get triggered before you enter. The level may not get triggered. You may be just sitting there waiting. Volatility, even with a target, be prepared for short-term price fluctuations around your target zone. That's absolutely normal. And your order management here. Consider using a trailing stop-loss order to manage risk as the price moves in your favor, especially if you want to lock in those profits. Also consider taking profit along the way in case the trend reverses. We see that on this desk. You see the Katina man doing it. Neil does it. Joseph as well, wetting the beak, so to speak, on the way up. That is the end of the lesson. I hope everybody prints up a storm.
It's a multiple storms, guys. All right, let's see what we can get cooking up here in QBTS. The space is in play. It does look like it wants to break out. We are having some issues, though. That volume is not really stepping in how we would necessarily like it to. So in order for us to hold on to this position, we need to get that volume to break through this trend line right here. But again, I'm going to get out at 75, just at the low of the range. But I just want to stick to things that are strong. We are up over 8% on the day, and we want to stick to that primary trend, all right? We want to stick to what is relatively strong and help identify that, especially if you're looking for the longs. Someone in the chat also mentioned Robinhood, and I was talking about this recently just due to the fact that I want to get involved in this name. And we can see here from a daily standpoint, a nice recovery off of these lows, 36, and you're getting a 50% haircut, which I really like. So especially under this name, I'm going to look to acquire it, especially at these levels. And I think it's going to do a phenomenal job because we talked about the numbers last week as well. Just 700% in Bitcoin, up 700% year over year in Bitcoin transactions. Options activity is up. Just overall user engagement is up as well too. You have more participants, more retail traders joining this platform. So I really like Hood for a long-term play there, guys. I think it's at a good value right now as well. But let's see. It doesn't seem like it wants to get the steam rolling. I think the market really has to start squeezing and participating in order for us to climb higher. The Qs are starting to trade towards the volume-weighted average price. Not quite yet there, but it is under it. Tesla not doing so good, down 5% again. But I mentioned we're going to hold on to this position until we get stopped out or we come back into the volume-weighted average price. Then I'll just get out, take a small haircut. These are all winning trades here, so you can see that we took it. We took a nice long here on QBTS right off the lows, added to the position through VWAP, and then took about 50% off there, guys. Went back in, 33% stopped out, and the same goes for this one. But it's hovering. We got to break through these pre-market lows from a previous session. I'll pull it up so we can see a little bit clearer. But you can see that we're struggling right at this base, and we need that momentum and those buyers to step in order for us to break through. So what was once resistance now acting as support, and then now flipped back to resistance here, guys. So you can see we have multiple touches. That's a really good base. And in order for us to get through, I'll say it one more time, is that we need that volume and momentum to really kick in, and it's not looking too good right now. We're starting to form somewhat of a cliff on the 1 minute time frame. So yeah, if we break down, punch through the VWAP, then I think this trend to the downside might be fully intact. We're going to need the market to start to participate, but yeah, we'll hold on to it until otherwise. We're not going to get out of we're not going to jump the gun by any means by getting out too early or cutting the position too early, because we have a trade plan. We have a thesis and we're going to stick to it. And that was my game plan coming into this week. I'll show you guys even my notes here. And once in a while I'll do this just to make sure I get right back on track. Sometimes, and no matter how long you've been doing this, guys, you'll hop out of track. So just daily rules right here. Stop out when supposed to, have defined risk per trade, be patient on the entries, don't scale in until it starts working. We showed you guys that only 3 attempts per ticker and setup, be accurate. And when I mean 3 attempts, that's 3 losing attempts. So if you guys do anything along those lines in the morning just to get yourself psyched up, ready to follow the game plan, because I think that's what you need. Tough week last week, that's fine. It's already off my shoulder. You know why? Because your boy scored the game winner on Sunday, played some hockey, been out for a little while, played a couple weekends ago in the league game. And then, yeah, we were down 2-1, come back and win 6-4. So that was exciting. It was 4-4 tied with a couple minutes left. And your boy got the game winner, making it 5-4 there. So yeah, a nice little confidence boost, and that's what we want to see. Hopefully, considering that we're sitting on top of this range here now, guys, we can break out. But again, rejecting 11-10. Volume not stepping in just yet. It is starting to fall off a little bit of a cliff and start to come in a bit. But yeah, not a good look. If it breaks 11, then I'm assuming that we're going to come in here and touch the volume weighted average price. So we need to be wary. I mentioned that our stop. So here we go. Couldn't break through. Market wants to take another leg down here. 1075 is going to be the out. We are constructing higher lows, which is a positive sign. So if we can hold this trend, we get a little bit of price action compression. But if it breaks through VWAP, then I'm just going to get out of the trade altogether. Joey Crosby, yeah, exactly. Did I buy the dog? Yeah, we got the dog, man. We got the dog, Gorev. Yeah, we got the dog. I'll show you guys. Yeah, I'll show you, man. He's a sweetheart. We don't pick him up for another month or so. We'll pull up what we got going on. Well, we're not going to talk about that. It costs a pretty penny. We'll go by the 6 tires. It cost me 6 tires.
Wow.
This guy here, but when you see his little face here, I don't know if you guys can see. Can we focus on
the other camera?
Yeah, maybe we can go here. Maybe we can pull up on this one.
There you go.
That's Milo, I guess, there, guys. So yeah, the caption is what got me. So yeah, there he is. So yeah, he's a dub. Yeah, Selena got what she wanted. It's not blonde, but yeah, I like the darker colored a little bit more because they won't get as dirty. So yeah, there he is. There's Milo, the new family member. Yeah, Doge. Yeah, there we go. The new family member. Happy to bring him. A little nervous too because he can't eat grapes. I love grapes. Dogs can't eat grapes.
No.
So
or popcorn.
And popcorn. I've been on the popcorn train as of late as well too. So yeah, I think there's a lot of things. So I gotta do the dog daddy due diligence and see what this guy can and can't eat. Even though I prefer to just feed them dog food, so they're not hovering around the table all the time. So there he is. Milo, the new member of the family.
Milo, that was coming. I was just about to ask. I'm like, what's the name?
Yeah,
bro?
Milo. Yeah, we were gonna go with Rupert. He looks more like a Milo. So yeah, we'll see what we got going.
Both would have been good.
Both would have been good. I want to name him Rocket because wiener dogs look like little mini rockets.
I was gonna say to you, I'm like, okay, so he's a little hot dog.
Yeah,
right?
he's a little hot dog.
There has to be some sort of hot dog play on the name.
You know what I mean?
So Schnitzer, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know.
Schnitzer, yeah.
Schnitzers, whatever the situation is
that's
there.
That's funny. But yeah, his little legs are like that big, man. So yeah, a little dashing guy. So maybe we'll get him hunting weasels and stuff like that. Yeah, I appreciate that. It's a big step. Yeah, it's a big step. So I'm gonna take care of the evening duties. Selena will take care of the morning duties, and we'll take it from there. But yeah, here we go, guys. We're starting to break out in QBTS. This is why you stick to the game plan. Bang. You stick to that thesis. I told you where we're gonna get out. It's looking like that volume wants to step in here on the lower time frames. We keep punching through, but we're not having any continuation, which isn't overly too good, and we're starting to form this shelf here at 11. So I would really like to see us a breakthrough, and then that next pivot's going to be our target, 11.15, and then if we can punch through that as well, Sharif, we're going to look to tap into 11.40, which I think can be in the works. We've been accumulating for quite some time. Hopefully this level can break, and that's what we're going to hold on for.
All right, makes sense, man. Here's what we're looking at. A couple holdovers from last week, but there are a few new ones. We're talking about RGC, looking real good. A bit more pricey in terms of dollars per share to size in at. We're talking about $18 and a fifth right now, $18.20. So a little bit on the pricier side, but you got to respect that look at that chart pattern there. Respecting the volume weighted average price, couple of bull flags, good continuation, good percentage up on the day, everything in kind of on the up and up, so to speak. The spread, I can kind of see how it's trading right now. It's a little not great on the spread, but we'll talk more about that as time goes on. RM was good. Multiple higher highs, higher lows, good continuation. Now we're kind of on the tail end of the trade. We're below VWAP. We're putting lower highs, lower lows. We're trying to hold 3.5. This one is on my S list until and if it can get above that volume weighted average price area at 380. I like VWAP at this level, both as support and resistance for a couple of reasons. One, because it's VWAP, and I usually use that level for the small cap gappers, as well as that 950 pop. Look at that 950 pop. It goes right up to 380. VWAP right now showing me 377. So essentially one and the same. We're going to keep an eye out on MGRM to see if it wants to catch a bid. This one is having no problem catching a bid. I'm talking about ARQQ right here, up 38 2/3%. It's off the high of the day at 21.75, but look at this, above the 10 exponential, above the breakout area at 2050. I submit to you that that is the area crest. On the closing basis, the wick takes it up to 21. I get all that. Everything's fine, everything's gravy. It comes back down into 20 after making that 21.75 pop and high of the day. Lo and behold, it holds 20, but unless you had a resting order waiting at that $20 area, or you're super quick and just were fixated onto the screen, you probably didn't get the fill because it didn't spend all that much time down there, which is leading me to my next point. Use resting orders for your entries and for your exits on these small cap gappers because they don't spend all that much time in any one level, and I'm slow and kind of dumb, so I can't do anything all that quickly, so I got to get the computer to do it for me. ARQQ, certainly on watch. And then we're going to talk about these quantum names. We had the quantum kind of tailwind this morning with Nvidia having their quantum day on calm down, bro. March 20th, with GTC starting today. So I'm going to be keeping my eye on Rigetti, knees are heavy, QUBT, QBTS, all the usual suspects for quantum. If they catch a bid, and we've seen this story before, they typically run together. The Katina man had trades on them. I know Joseph was killing it on QBTS today, or what was it, QBTS?
Yeah, QBTS.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
I saw what he was doing in the morning. It was a fantastic look, so shout out to him. We're going to be keeping an eye on these bad boys. Rigetti, knees are heavy still. Right now, having trouble with that 1120 level. That 1120 level is Friday's closing print, and it has been respected on the day, both as support and resistance. Let me make my case. So we close out, as I mentioned, on Friday, near the highs, by the way, at 1120. And then look at this morning. We gap up at 4 a.m. We weasel up to 1175. There is a seller of note at 1175, pre-market or not. And in addition to 1175 being the level on Rigetti, 1120 acted as a support level multiple times into the pre, both at 5:10, 6 a.m. multiple times, 7 a.m., then even the institutional print at 8 bounced off there. But that's the last time we would use it as support, that is. Now, in fact, we're using that $11.20 level as resistance on Rigetti, knees are heavy. And that is because it is the closing print from Friday. Chart the closing prints. It costs you nothing. Okay, so going to keep an eye out on that. If we can clear 1120 decisively with good volume and it's put in a good chart pattern, I'm all ears and eyes and whatever else. Okay, we're going to keep an eye out on that. Rigetti, good look right now. I don't have, sadly, too many others in small cap gapper world. It is a bit of a light day. I'm seeing GLMD, so let's load that bad boy on there. GLMD. No, that ain't it, homie. No, that's a piece of crap. It's ARQQ that I thought I was looking at there. All right, allow me a second here to see if there's others. Sure. Yes, QMCO. So QMCO, another pricier one, I want to say, because again, it's 18 and change. So much like RGC, we're above Friday's high as well on QMCO. So QMCO is a multi-day runner. It ran on Thursday. It tried to run on Friday, and then it ended up giving back the ghost, and basically closed out flat at basically at Thursday's closing print. Ended up closing out 1533, give or take. So it's above the level right now. It's at the 10 exponential. It's got a good bounce off VWAP right at that 1035 time slot. Comes right into VWAP. It gets bought up quite aggressively for the most part, for the exception of this area where it breaches a 10 exponential moving average on a one candle closing basis. I'm talking about that 1035 pop down into VWAP. It has respected the 10 exponential moving average. So there's another area of possible support for here for QMCO is that 10 exponential. It does sadly have that 19 quadruple top. No, that's more. That's once, twice, OB thrice, and then 4 and 5 times. This QMCO has attempted a $19 break 5 times intraday, all 5 of which have not breached. That is the high of the day. It is putting in higher lows, 1875, yada, 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 in and around that area. It's a bit spready for a small cap gapper like stock. QMCO, technically, it's about $110 million, so market cap, so it is technically a small cap gapper. In any event, it is putting in higher lows, looking for that possible flat top break. We need an animation for flat top break. We say it so often now at $19. So QMCO will be on watch here, Joseph, in addition to these others. It's really, for me, RGC above $17 at VWAP. That's the prime trade. Rigetti above 1120 on a closing basis. ARQQ at 1950 for that VWAP trade. And then QMCO, if you can get a flat top break through that. Those are my money fills. That's what I'll be looking at today. We'll be looking at these small cap gappers, Joseph.
Nice work there, my guy. Yeah, here we go, guys. We're still holding on to this position. I told you we're going to hold it for the break. We are now on the backside of this trend, so we do definitely have to watch this. I mentioned that this cliff that we formed, and then we're now covering that. If the momentum goes to the downside, we crack 1090, I will get out of the trade a little bit earlier, because to me, that's just telling me that this trend here, the construction of higher lows, is going to be no good and not in play anymore. So we have to just kind of readjust and possibly get in a little bit closer to the volume weighted average price, up 7.8%. And I was looking at this thing from a daily standpoint, and it's been trading fairly well since earlier in March here, guys. We're up about over 120% in this name. So yeah, a really, really good look here on QBTS. And I want to get into this quantum space, 129, 140% roughly. I know it's a big variance, but yeah, that's the game plan. I don't want to chase it all the way up here. It looks like we're going to crack. We do have a support level right around 1090 as well. So let's see if this comes into play. Tesla's continuing to move to the downside, so not a good look on that front. I think that this name is strong and the space is strong today, so we're going to just hold off, wait for this primary trend to stay intact and see if it can anyways. But other than that, I know someone in the chat asked me to take a look at some names. Sorry, I had it pulled up, but then I forgot it. Just been concentrating on some other things. But yeah, we'll be really patient. On QBTS, I do believe it's going to break out. Yes, on Friday session, we put in a really strong engulfing pattern, and then now we're sitting on top of the range. So that's a positive sign, and we're just going to look for the continuation. We're coming back towards my entry price, still hovering around 1095. Hopefully this can hold, and if not, then I mentioned that we'll just get out. Now, Hood. I mentioned that we were looking to get in this, but punch through the high day really well here, guys. Up to 1050 is where that high day was. Now trading at 4120. So really good look there in Hood. I'll pull that up real quick second, because I want to get involved in Hood. I think especially with their numbers, that's what you want to see, especially in a company. I'm not going to compare it to NVDA, but with the growth cycles and everything along those lines, it's a positive signal, and with that, you want to follow it. So, and that's the thing with the quantum space as well too. When Rigetti reported their earnings, they're still not really making any money. So again, I think that's more of a forward-looking play when you're going quantum. You're a couple years out, as Jensen would like to say as well. So yeah, we'll hold on to that. Hood looking really nice for whoever pointed that one. Hopefully it doesn't dump. There is some possible topping signals up here, but again, a nice healthy pullback, about 40%, 30% retrace this move here, and then it looked like you can continue to climb higher and higher. I mentioned that it was down over 50% off of those all-time highs, traded really well after earnings, and then just sold off with the rest of the market. QBTS is breaking through VWAP, so in a couple of seconds, I'm just going to get out of that trade, because I don't want to hold it on the backside of it, because it looks like the backside of that trend is working out really, really well, and some of these names. So yeah, there we go. We're all out of that one there, guys. So we'll go 3 for 4 on QBTS, and we're just going to look for the continuation and some of these stronger names. So Robinhood, I like that. We'll keep that in mind. And I also want to note, just looking at the options chain, there's high levels of open interest at 7 on QBTS for this week's expiration cycle. So take that into play, because in this market, those call and put walls are really, really coming into fruition there. So you want to look for the bounce and the rejection of them. We talked about them multiple times last week as well, with the Qs respecting high levels of OI in the options chain, buy and every name, even the Mag 7 as well too. And with that being said, before we send it back over to my guy, I'm going to take a look at Tesla because it's so unfortunate that it's continuing to just sell. And we'll take a look at it from a daily standpoint. Yeah, it's already given back everything from Friday and then some, looking like it wants to take another leg lower. We'll take a quick gander at the chain to see if there's anything that stands out to us and might put in that magnet effect and attract us to a certain key level. So on this week's expiration cycle, guys, we're looking at 220, which would be not too good of a look here on the put side. So maybe a little bit of a support wall that can come into play on Tesla to the downside. And then if we're going to look up, 260 has the highest levels of open interest on the call side. I'm not too sure we get there just yet. We are trading around 235. I think 220 can come into play quicker. That would put us the base of this level than what we can get at 260 here in Tesla Street.
All right, Joseph, we're going to take a quick short on Affirm over here. Let's see if we can get short. Why isn't it not letting me in? Oh, here we go. Okay. So let's go ahead and get short on Affirm. My move, okay, it's still not letting me in. That's bizarre. The bid is 73s. There we go. So I'm basically feel here that Affirm has been rejecting the 50 exponential moving average on the 5. So I'm going to give this about 45.20. So let's go ahead and put that order in there. So we're going to look to cover if this breaks 45.20. So it's kind of going against me right now. I didn't anticipate it to just tank right away. So that's what we're looking at. Affirm. I'm going to wait in the mid 60s over here for the first peak wetter. Let's see if we can get it. There, and then let's set up some orders to the downside as well to see if we can get some of those bad boys on Affirm. Also long RGC at 17.17. This is a really good trade right now, so we're going to try to take out some over here. It's kind of spready. So we're long 17.77. So it's showing me 18.20s right now. Let's see if we can get something out at the whole dollar. There it is. So now we're going to wait a little bit higher now. Let's see if we can get something at 10s. We'll set up 10s there, and then we'll set up 25s up here. Let's see if we can layer the orders and get something out on this monster. So that's a look right now. RGC long, Rigetti knees are heavy as well, long. My thinking here on Rigetti is a VWAP retracement and the possible retaking of the high of day. I've given it a little bit of room. I'm long 11.11. I'll just give it to 11. So we're going to risk about 11 pennies on this monster to see if we can do anything substantial over here. Wow, that was really quick on RGC. We just took 50 pennies just like that on it, but that seems like a really bad trade having executed like that, quite frankly, because I think it could go up much higher. So that was a bit of a mistake. Good trade, but a mistake. No question about it. And the reason I made a mistake is because I only got partially filled here. So that means I have to go in and clear up the remaining order, the buy order on RGC, because it's no longer valid for me now that it's come into that price. So the buy order of the gear gets filled. That's, oh man, that was a mistake, Joseph. That could have been a much better trade. That was a bit of a boo-boo there. All right, now waiting here on Affirm. Where are we short? We're short 80s, showing me 73s. I'm waiting in the mid 60s. Let's see if we can get a move down here on AFRM. And then the other one, as I mentioned, Rigetti, we're going long. We're trying for a VWAP hold. Let me make my case here for the Affirm short, because I think I didn't really explain this one all that much, or if at all. So I perceive Affirm to be getting some resistance here at a level we don't typically look at. Wow, and I just printed a whole bunch of prints to the low side there. Let's cover some more over here on AFRM. Very happy with this trade. Let's go ahead and wait a little bit lower now. We're going to wait in the low 40s on this, okay? Now, let me make my case here for why I felt this was a good short on AFRM. And I looked to Neil because I thought maybe Affirm would be a pay for shorts type situation. Today it was not. The reason why I felt it was an interesting area is because we kind of obviously tanked right away in the morning on that 7:15 headline news that Klarna was going to basically take their spot with Walmart for buy now, pay never kind of situation. We move up. Look at this. The closing print below the 50. We pop back up. We continue to remain below the 50. That 50 exponential moving average on the 5 will always be the red solid line on my charts. We reject the 50. We come back to it, right? And so this is what kind of got me short. And that's why I placed my stop at 45.25, because I wanted to give it to at least the 50 exponential. I'm just trying to put the odds on my side. That's all I'm doing right now. Put the odds on my side. I'd like to be able to cover the majority of it into the volume weighted average price. I perceive VWAP to be support, not just because it's VWAP, but it does actually have price action support in and around there. Look at all these area pops over here from essentially 9:35 to 10 o'clock, all came in right into that 45 or into that 44.33 VWAP area. In addition, when we tried to take it, that is VWAP, when we tried to reclaim VWAP, we were kind of rejecting it from the downside over here. So if we pop back down, I'd like to be able to take the majority of the position into the volume weighted average price. That's going to be my move, hopefully, on AFRM, but it's already coming right back into my entry. I de-risked already a few outs over here, so I'm in the money on it. Don't want to give back too much. Now, the question is, now that we got that pop, do I give it all the way up to 45.25? How many shares do I have left? Yeah, I have more than I thought I did. Okay. So I'm going to have to decide here whether I allow it all the way up into 45.25, because it's already, well, we're already kind of flat on the remaining amount of this trade over here. I should have been taking out more on the dips down. That was my mistake there. I'm going to let it cook up to 45.25. So we'll see exactly what it does. If it takes out 45 with some vigor, I could reconsider that. So let's look back now at, what's this one called? Rigetti, still no prints on this one, so it did defend 11. So it did come down briefly into 11. I had my stop below 11 by a couple of shekels. Now we're flat on it, and again, I want to see if we can get something up into around 18s. That's the first area I'm waiting, then I'm waiting at 25s there, Joseph. So we'll pack our patience, see if we can get anything on Rigetti. Knees are heavy, showing me 16s now. I'm waiting at 17s. Still no prints there at the level, so we'll just pack our patience and see if we can get it in a little bit.
Yeah, nice look there, Shreve. I'm looking at some staples. I know a couple people in the chat mentioned Walmart. Really strong here today, guys. So good look, up about 2.3% on the session. So yeah, really, really good look there on Walmart and Hood for whoever called those ones out. So yeah, proper stuff. This is going to be my last attempt on QBTS. So I don't want to ruin the average too much. Got in at these highs, but it looks like it wants to break. It is holding this trend line. So if you can see, if we just draw a basic one from here to here, constructing higher lows, which is a positive sign. So if we go on the back end of this trade, then that's it. I'll take in 3 wins and 3 losses on it. So about a 50% shooting rate and then still staying green. It does look like it wants to break down, which isn't positive. I've seen that Rigetti was trading half decently. I know Shreve's in that from 111.12. It is sitting above the volume weighted average price. Good sign there. And it's kind of been lagging what QBTS is. So if this space really wants to pick up the steam, then I think we can break through some of these resistance zones and continue. But again, if we crack this downtrend to the if we crack this trend to the downside, then I'm just going to hop out of that space and look for something else that may be extremely weak or really strong. I do like Walmart for potential bounce as well off of the volume weighted average price. It is only 11.30, so we want to see that come in around 12, and then that can give us a little bit of momentum to continue that topside move. But yeah, not looking good here in QBTS. Look at it possibly going to break down. Still up about 7% here, guys. Hopefully this support system holds. If not, then that's it. You won't see me trading this name anymore, just because I want to stick to the rules, right? So 3 for 3. It's looking like the case is going to be. Yeah, Amazon. I was thinking over the weekend, I was just doing some due diligence on my own and looking for that next play where I can go a little bit heavy. And I was contemplating on buying some Amazon calls. But again, there's nothing here from a daily standpoint that tells me that price is ready to completely turn around. And I think that's the case. You can see a lot of these big names starting to come in. So going to have to be a lot more patient. I know a lot of analysts are still saying, hey, I don't think the downside momentum has complete. Like when we've seen pullbacks like this in earlier last year, whatever it may be, there are still tailwinds for the market to continue to climb higher. And I don't think that's necessarily the case here now. What is going to drive us higher at this point? And I believe we have to wait for Q1 earnings. We have a lot of headwinds in the market right now. We know that we have the FOMC meeting coming up as well. Keep that in mind. But I don't think that's a pause isn't going to be enough to send this market to the top side. So yeah, just I'm going to be patient, wait for the right time to get in. We are constructing higher lows. That's a positive sign, but there's nothing from a price action standpoint that says, hey, Joe, go heavy in some of these names that may be short-term oversold, all right? So keep that in mind. What else are you guys looking at?
Joseph, let me
Cover. You want to cover something?
Baba's breaking out, guys.
Ooh.
So flat top breakout here on Baba. Fantastic look on Alibaba. Yeah, Joseph. I mean, this thing just keeps doing better and better every day. Good move up right from that open 930 pop-up. We get that bull flag, and we get the most beautiful bull flag in my humble submission, the ascending wedge bull flag, showing you buyers picking it up at higher and higher and higher levels, but the sellers remaining steadfast in their conviction, or the profit takers remaining steadfast in their conviction at around 146.5. That is, of course, until they were overwhelmed by said buyers who took them basically out, and now we are up almost 4.5% coming into that 147.5 level. So what I'm talking about here, bull flag, ascending wedge, flat top, all that stuff, if you're a newer trader, what we talk about is a big move up and then a sideways consolidation. We call this kind of pattern the bull flag. It comes in many different variations. It doesn't always look like this. Sometimes it's more a diagonal, the pull, rather than being completely vertical. The point is, there was a seller, and you could see that over here over and over at 146.5, all the way up into 146.75, maybe even 4/5. We kept getting the sell, but the most notable part about that is when we got the sells, the buyers were picking it up at higher and higher and higher and higher levels every single time till we got that flat top break. Now we're not even looking back. 147.50 high a day. We're about to take it out right now. It's 4.5% in the clear. Look at this one go. Ali dang Baba. Fantastic look. And I see you guys in the chat talking about XPEV, moving up as well. I haven't had an opportunity to look at XPEV quite yet. We'll get into these ADRs in a hot second if they're all moving. I think except for the exception of Liato, because it had a downgrade today, as you guys saw on the big boy screen with Adara this morning on the upgrades and downgrades. So gonna keep looking here at Alibaba. My initial thinking about this one was place an order at the flat top break. Place it at 146, and 3/4. Maybe if you want to even be more aggressive, place it at 147. But it's getting away by $1, bro. Yeah, you're looking at this as well. I mean, I don't blame you. It's on the way to 148 right now. Ali dang Baba, fantastic look to the high side. Good look there. I mean, I don't have an entry on this until and if it comes back to test that flat top breakout level. I perceive that level again to be between 146.5, essentially to about 146 and 4/5, 3/4 in and around that level. I got stopped at a Rigetti. Knees are heavy on this one, so we gave up 10 pennies quickly, just like that. We have to draw the line there somewhere. Yeah, this one was negative on the day, so I should know my lesson not to take these bad boys when they are negatory. Affirm, we're going to take some more profits, or are we on this one? I just want to take profits quickly there because this one did show its propensity to want to pop back up above my entry. So I want to de-risk a little bit into this area. There we go. Now we get the fill. Let's see if we can get the fill now below 50. I'm waiting in the low 40s AFRM. It's been a tough day for it, but still above the volume weighted average price. I also have a dip trade, guys, on ARQQ, and I waited for this one. I really wanted to punch in at the 10 exponential moving average, and I was even feeling more FOMO at this $20 area because it overlapped with the 20 exponential moving average. So I said, no, wait for the volume weighted average price dip, 1950 on ARQQ. It's a spready name. It's also a bit more expensive than the ones I typically trade for these small cap gappers. I'm trying to front run VWAP on ARQQ into the 60s. This one already popped or dropped down into 1974, but it's being bought up now again above 20. So I'm really banking on the fact that this does actually touch the volume weighted average price level like it did over here with the double bottom. We'll have to wait and see if ARQQ wants to give me that entry. I've been waiting here, and I will continue to wait either to get filled or to get shafted. So we'll see there. Still waiting, Joseph, on AFRM. That's the only position I got in right now. I just really want to mention that Alibaba thing because it really did pop up. Okay, we got a super chat. My main man there. Never met him before, but he's my main man. John Ziegler. I hope I didn't butcher that. Ziegler. First ever super chat for anything. You guys are a great listen. Quick thoughts on AAL, American Airlines, if you have a moment. Of course, John, thank you very much for the nice comments. Obviously, it goes without saying, we appreciate you and we appreciate everybody in the chat, no doubt about it. Let's have a look at AAL. I know it was a tough week for them last week with them basically guiding down demand. And you can see what the market did to them there. So we were at area lows back in August of last year. Kind of a funny time to have an area low with summer demand, this, that, and the other. And then everything was fine. Everything was gravy. We were up over 100% from the area low in August to the area high in January. And that's as good as it was going to get, at least for the moment. For all the way from 19, now we're trying to hold on for dear life at 10 with a 10.5 hold. So we're down 45% from these area lows. So AAL is a bit of a tougher look right now. Look, my understanding is that domestic demand for domestic travel in the States is falling off a cliff. The only thing really keeping these flight or airline companies afloat is, number one, international travel, as well as premium. Anything like premium economy, business class, first class, where they make their margins. And we saw, especially with Love coming out last week saying that they're going to charge baggage fees. So if they kind of move up the standard, I'm just wondering if you see more fees, new types of fees coming in from these airlines that were already charging baggage fees, like novel fees. Stuff that we haven't seen before. So we'll wait and see there. That would obviously be good for shareholders because it'll be more of a revenue source and not good for travelers. So this one is right now, it's above the key level. Okay, so this area over here, August 5th, we can kind of write off this area because that's the unwind of the yen carry trade. So my humble submission to you that this $10 area has been defended for quite some time. I'm going all the way back to the only time we were below 10 for any discernible amount of time was COVID, the beginning stages of COVID. I'm talking about that March till May of 2020. Since that time, $10 has been an absolute buy on AAL. Again, for the exception of this one area, we've never been below 10, but again, that is the unwind of the yen carry trade. So I don't know, I feel it might be an interesting area here to buy AAL at 10 bucks. You don't know, maybe there's a hedge fund that likes it, a sovereign wealth fund that's picking it up at $10. Yeah, so $10 is an interesting level. It looks like today we got down to about 10.83. On Friday, we got down to about 10.47. So I like that $10 level with maybe a stop in and around 9.5. However much you're willing to let it go against you, it's going to be specific to your risk appetite. Mr. Long Shorts, Baidu also went through 100 with news about beating DeepSeek. Let's have a look at BIDU, another Chinese name that is, been okay. I mean, it's definitely not Alibaba. That's the weekly chart on it. Let's go to the daily over here. Yeah, it's still not a good look. I mean, they had a couple of good Apple headlines. They're helping Apple with the Chinese Apple intelligence, this, that, and the other. But this, when the chart speaks volumes, okay? And when you look at the chart on Baba, it definitely outperforms this chart on Baidu. So I don't want to just look at the headline here. It is the chart that has to convince me. And we are still in a downtrend. So when you look at this, the highs are lower, the lows are generally lower, with this $75 area being an interesting area of support going back weeks and weeks, maybe till last August. So BIDU, not really my cup of tea right now, but maybe an intraday trade. Let's have a look at the 5. Yeah, we are at highs certainly on BIDU. So good look intraday. But from the daily, from the weekly perspective, not so good. And I see your point. This one blew through $100.99 high day right now on BIDU. Joseph, it's up 7 1/3.
Yeah, nice look. Yeah, I mean, these Chinese ADRs are significantly outperforming the NASDAQ and the S&P here, guys. So that you want to stick with strength. You can see that Alibaba Group is starting to punch through some local highs as well. So punching through that, really good look here in Alibaba. 150 might be in the works. What we will do is we'll pull up the options chain as well. KWeb, FXI, all trading higher. So you want to be involved in these names that are relatively strong. Just find those stronger markets. Euro's trading well, and so is China. So yeah, I mean, it drastically outperforming what we got going over here on the western side of the world. What are your thoughts? We got another $5 super chat. What are your thoughts on TTD? It's been a port killer, biggest green day in a month. Yeah, let's take a look at TTD. Excuse me. Yeah, nice look here from an intraday standpoint, breaking through that high a day. Let's see what we got going on from a daily standpoint. This is the issue, right? Like 114 all the way down to 142, sorry, all the way down to 55, 61% haircut. Like, that's so tough to just watch, and hopefully you're not a shareholder at the top or you're buying trade desk around the top, but it's going to take a lot for this thing to kind of get the ball rolling again in TTD. So, yeah, don't beg hold if you're going to get out. If it breaks through 55 and looks like it wants to continue lower, just get out of the trade and get right back in. QBTS didn't work for us. It's unfortunate that we went 3 for 3 at the beginning, and then as soon as we tried to take some here, it just didn't work out. So those 3 worked out. Then we go 0 for 1, 0 for 2, 0 for 3. That's it. Sticking to the rules. 3 attempts. Doesn't want to break out. Just because from a data standpoint, we know that around attempts 1 to 3, we have the highest probability, and after that, it just falls off a cliff. The chances are significantly lower for my style of trading to get it on that 4th try. So I'm really key on precision on where exactly I get in. This trade could have been a winning one, to be honest with you as well, if I got in exactly where I wanted to. But what I was waiting for is the break of this downtrend here. And then once we broke it, I'm like, okay, let's see if this can be sustained. And then we go and test the high day. And that would have been the target, right? We start taking some out right there around the high day. But it is unfortunate that we got stopped out 50% of it right here, and then 66 here and 66 here. So it is what it is, but still green on the session, so that's a positive note. That's why you want to make those winners as big as possible. And we'll just give thanks to this ad right here as we climbed higher and higher, broke through VWAP with that momentum. Yeah, I mean, the last three weren't. We didn't get the breakout that we were looking for, and you can tell what this is, where the momentum really starts to kick in. As we break through this support level, then this is just stops getting wiped out. Boom, 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 all those long stops having to sell, and then now we just climb right back up. So you can see that outlying volume signature as well. So again, keep in mind, you break that level, you break that system, stops start to get triggered, and that's where you can kind of squeeze back in. I would love to take another entry, but I want to set a good example. And with you guys, that being said, I will not be trading this name anymore. I know you want to cover on something here real quick, Sharif. I want to touch on KWeb real quick because I know that you look at this name as well. So this is the Internet ETF, the China Internet ETF, and it's also trading significantly higher. We're going to take a look at it from a daily standpoint. Oh, it's AMX. I'll pull up here, Sharif. Give me one moment, and then we'll send it back over to you. But again, so all these names are trading really, really well. We're going to punch through this pivot, especially you get this engulfing candle right here. 39.40 is that price to break, and with this type of momentum, I think it's going to happen here shortly. Sure.
All right, so BYD news, guys. Very interesting look here. BYD is tradable in North America under a 5-letter ticker, BYDDY and BYDDF. They are a low volume, but they're up on the day. I'm looking at BYDDY. It's up 2.5%. Here's why. BYD, China's leading electric vehicle maker, has introduced a revolutionary charging system that can charge their Han L model with 292 miles of range in just 5 minutes. That's insane. This innovation addresses a major barrier to EV adoption, long charging times, that is. The technology will be integrated into BYD's upcoming models, potentially attracting a broader range of buyers and strengthening its position against global rivals Tesla, obviously. Despite this breakthrough, BYD's Hong Kong listed shares remained flat on Monday. They are not flat right now in North America anyway. They are up. I'm talking about BYDDY. I didn't look at F. It's up 2.5%. Big news here. I'm looking at Tesla. It's not really reacting. Well, I mean, it's down 6%. I don't know if it's down 6% as a result of this trade over here or what the situation is. But this is very, very big news from BYD, my humble submission. just because that's a lot of miles right there. 292 miles in 5 minutes. I don't even know if that's solid state. I mean, I think they would have probably said it was solid state there. So big look right now for BYD. Again, not really traded heavily in North America, but I thought I'd bring you that. All right, ARQ, we're long at 20.03. I just wet the beak there at $0.25. I'm waiting next at 55s. It's showing me 40s right now on the ask. I'm waiting at 55s. Small position. I front ran this, okay? Full disclosure. I front ran it. As you can see, my order went unfilled there. I was waiting at VWAP. It didn't give me VWAP. I still like this order, okay? So I'll leave my order outstanding there at 1960, give or take. If I do get filled at 55s, that will be the end of the current trade, and I'll wait for this one to get triggered. So that's my look right now on ARQQ. But I'm going to keep my eye on these Chinese ADRs because there's a lot of tailwinds right now coming out of China. And if I want to take something to the long side, as Joseph was just looking at, he was looking at KWeb, FXI, lots of different names you could look at there. So ARQQ involved with right now. I'm still short Affirm. I still like this trade. As it's still continuing to dance below the 50 exponential. If it breaks it, it breaks it. I mean, I can just only put the odds on my side. That's what I'm doing right now with AFRM. As you can see, we're still hanging out below that red line like we did over here. Again, this was in the pre-market. This is regular trading hours. You know, they're not the same. But I still like this setup, and I will add into it if it's appropriate to do so, if I like what I see on the book and whatever. So we're going to keep an eye out there. RGC, another trade that we had that I was involved with earlier to the high side, just came into VWAP. So this candle right here is a bit of a double bottom on the 5. We have a very similar looking candle at 1050 that had a low of 1651. This one has a low of 1680, so it's a little bit higher, actually, but what's common to them is that they both bounce off VWAP. Now, the problem with this one is it's a 15 penny spread currently on a $17 name. I've seen it way wider. I've seen it like 50 pennies. Okay, so you're gonna have to be careful. So it's zigging and zagging right now. It's at the volume weighted average price. Let's see which way this one wants to go. I don't know if I want to punch in at these levels. It's just way too spready for me. I don't feel comfortable getting in with this kind of a spread on RGC, but it is at a very interesting level, that a volume weighted average price where it found support previously. Let's go to the other one that I'm involved in right now, ARQQ. So this one did pop into 50 pennies, didn't get filled. So I'm waiting at 55, so I'll have to continue packing my patience there. And then AFRM continues to weasel on up a little bit higher than where I feel comfortable. It's at $45. I'm giving this to the $0.25. Let's see which way the cookie crumbles there, Joseph. What do you got?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm in some RGTI. Oh, you're out of the RGTI right now, Sharif. I'm looking forward to break through the volume-weighted average price. We did get a little bit of a pop in QBTS and in that space, so gonna hope that this thing can break through and hold above the volume-weighted average price. But you can see that we have this short-term, the secondary or tertiary downtrend. We need volume to step in order for us to break through it, and it's looking like it's about to come here. So if we can punch through that, then I think we can hit that next level, would put us around 1120. If we can break through 1120, then we can possibly run into the high day. I'll zoom out and see what we got going on from a 3-minute time frame, so you can see a little bit more distinctively. Again, so this is just the trend line, and that was just another thing I noted. Just make sure you have those intact, and because these support and resistance levels are really, really coming into play in this environment. So yeah, keep that in mind. Draw your basic stuff, multiple touches, primary trend lines, secondary trend lines, whatever it may be, and then look when they come into play. All right, guys. But we got another $1 super chat from TS. TS doesn't say anything for behind the chat, but thank you once again. QBTS is having a crazy month, normal special, because it is up over 130%. So really good look there on QBTS. It was trading around $4 or $6 last week, and now trading around 11. So that's doubling your investment in a span of a couple of days within a week. So yeah, really good luck. Hopefully we can break through it here. It does. Volume is starting to pick up, and one thing to note is that the pullback volume is starting to dwindle as well, so that's a positive signal. Hopefully we don't get that flush. I mentioned QBTS just being nothing short of a liquidity grab right there, guys, and that's what it was, because we broke out right after. So we'll pull it up from a 1-minute time frame and see what we got going on. Oh, this is RGTI, sorry. Okay, so here we go. So this is all it was. Considering we couldn't go higher, it needed more liquidity to push. So I'm in right here, liquidity grabs, nice volume signature, and then just goes back right above the entry. So that's nothing short of a lick grab, and that's what you want to be able to identify. But RGTI continuing to climb, looking really good here, Sharif.
Okay, sir. Here we go. I was going to mention something, I totally forgot. Yes, QMCO, big boy breakout, one of the ones that we had on the side chart. Didn't have any trades on it. Quite frankly, I wasn't liking this until that 17 3/4 area. That's where VWAP was. But it seems to have a bit of a line of best fit here. And I don't often do this when a line kind of flips between both support and resistance, but this one feels like it is being respected on the day. Again, both as support and resistance. If I can kind of just increase the thickness over here, you can kind of see that a bit better. Yeah. So initially acts as resistance up here, support up here, support up here. I will try to take a trade off this trend line or observe, see how it does. If it does come back down and test it. So QMCO, 25.5%, just got into the day's high, 19.35, showing me 19.25 right now. Let's see what it does when it comes back possibly into that 18.5 or wherever this upper trend line or this bullish trend line is showing us at the time the price comes down. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on right now. QMCO, fantastic breakout there at a time where we're not getting much in the way of breakouts. So that is the look. I'm still going unfilled over here on ARQQ to the high side above 50, and that's basically because of my stubbornness of insisting I get a print above that 50 penny area. You know, it's come up to 50s multiple times. I'm talking about that $20.50 area. Multiple times we could have taken the print there, and we did not. Stubbornness is kind of the look. I'm doing real well, though, on AFRM, and I added into this. And, you know, if you've been watching the show for a while, you know that that has been my Achilles heel. I appreciate you, Joseph. Just trying to take after you, brother.
Hey,
I see you adding every morning, and it makes me angry to no end. So I'll play it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, no, but like, quite frankly, it does get me jealous. I'm like, why can he add and I cannot add? I'm like, do I have a physical impairment that I cannot add? So it's obviously a mental impairment there that is preventing me from adding. So I'm trying to get better with it. You're not going to get better overnight. Anyway, so we added into 45. I wet the beak there into the low 60s. Now we're still showing 60s. I'm still waiting out for hope over here that we get into the volume weighted average price, which is currently 44 1/3. But there's a lot of buying around this area. But we saw this kind of same song and dance. Again, we saw it in the pre-market where we kept hanging around 47s, or essentially at the time we were hanging out south of the 50 exponential, only to end up making a big boy low. It is not the same story. It is not the same setup. So I'm trying to be cognizant of that and not overstay my welcome. So I am taking profits when they do come in. Next one that I've got outside of that 60 print that I just got is in the mid 40s, right up into 45. Again, it goes. So there are buyers there, whether I like it or not. So we'll keep tabs on that. Again, ARQQ, again back into 50. Again, I go unprinted. So does my resting order to defend the volume weighted average price. It doesn't look like that one's going to get filled, quite frankly, because it looks like we're putting in 4 candle green setup now back into the high side. Only problem is that 4 candle green setup can't breach the 50 penny area, so I'm caught in between a rock and a hard place at the moment. So keeping my eye on those bad boys. There's really not much else I like. Someone was telling me ANTE. I told them awfully consolidative at these levels. I'm talking about ANTE, Aeronet Technologies. Here's the 5-minute look. We zigged, we zagged, a little above VWAP, a little bit below. I hate these type of patterns. Show me a consistent pattern. Show me key areas of support and resistance that are being respected, and then we can have a conversation. John Del Segno, one of the chat OGs, was telling me about Trade Desk. Here, that's a really good look, John. If this comes in to that 54.90, 55 and holds up, this is TTD. A couple of weird looking arches there, not, you know, a pattern I would have anticipated to see on TTD like that, where we zig up, zig down, move back up, move back down again, kind of bizarre. I want to see what we do at 55, the whole dollar level, as well as at 54.90. That's where the volume weighted average price is. I'm going to throw an alert for that. Show me, punk. There we go. Now we're going to, the meaning of being lonely. Bro, I mean, man. I can't help it. I can't help it. So TDD, Joseph, we're putting an alert there at 55 to front run the retracement, the possible retracement into that volume-weighted average price. Diggity Jacobs, Xwell. All right, let's have a look. I hope that's not like a joke or something. Xwell. Ooh, boy. Okay, what the hell is this? All right, we need more information because that's a big boy move up, but I need more. $6.3 million market cap. It's light on volume, though, Diggity. That's the problem with this one. Okay, great move up, 21%, low float. It's got 70,000 shares printed. I mean, the Katina takes more shares on Tesla than you know, that this one's printed the entire day. So, you know, it's light. It's real light on volume there. It's not going to be for me if and until it can definitely get some more volume under its belt, but thank you for calling that one out. Wouldn't have shown up on my scanner because, you know, I filter by volume to prevent any of these low volume names from trying to bamboozle me. So that is the look there. The midday boy band. Yes, yes, the midday boy band is back. SBP Trader, Sharif, can you check another country ticker on the daily? Thanks. What? Coalinda? Is there a joke that I don't understand there? Because I'm an idiot.
No,
right?
man, wait.
Can you check another country ticker on daily? Lindia? Okay, maybe that's a company I don't know about. Throw the ticker in there, SBB Trader. Just give me the ticker because I don't know the ticker for that one. Here we go again with ARQQ. I just want to show you guys this. Look at the movement into 50. No size posted on there. We have one lot on BATS and BITZ. And obviously, you know, we have a hidden seller around here. If we're being kept down, there it is, and there's the break. Very happy. We took that trade well. The only thing that I can kind of complain about this is I didn't get my full position at the volume weighted average price. That's my problem, not yours. But the trade is sound. Let's see if it continues moving on to the high side. Let's see what people are talking about. Zeke, could you please check Steyr Motors? Bro, what are you? Give me the tickers. What's going on with you guys? For sure. Thanks for looking.
You just got to guess, man.
I don't know, bro. I'm not typing them in. You're going to have to do a little bit of work for me. Diggity, for sure. Thanks for looking. Been a crazy bag holding ride on Xwell since the bat flu. Interesting, my man. Thank you for you know, putting that in there. Yeah, I'm not going to obviously try to wax poetic or tell you anything you don't know, but I don't typically hold these small cap gappers overnight. For me, they are intraday trades only. And as part of the rules here at the firm, we got to be flat by the latest 4:15 every day. You can't trade after that. So needless to say, I don't do it in my personal account. I don't do it on the floor here. These are intraday trades only for me for these small cap gappers. That's just my rule. DJ, 2 a.m. What's your filter for volume set at? Is there a number? Absolutely there is. And it may not be a number that you like. I put 250,000 shares. I wouldn't trade it if it had only done 250,000 shares by 11 a.m. The reason I put 250 is for the pre-market. When I get here in the morning, I get here typically around 7 a.m. I look at my, or a little after, I look at my scanner. And so not everything's done the full amount, over 1 million shares. So if it's done decent volume, I'd like to know about it in advance. And the way I do that is by putting it at about 250,000 shares. Doesn't mean I would trade it if it had only done 250,000 shares, though. That's just for my scanner so I can be made aware of it. In addition to having a volume filter, I also put a price filter. I used to put $1, but Neil gave me the great idea of putting it at 85 pennies. Reason being, you want to be made aware of those ones that are approaching the dollar so that you can decide whether to trade them or not. It is a different trade north and south of that dollar. I hope that helps. Yeah, so that's the look there. Let's just... Zeke, brother, you're going to have to tag me with the ticker of that. I'm not going to Google the ticker. Just tag me for that Steyr Motors or whatever. Diggity Jacobs, for sure. I didn't know what I was doing in 2020. Oh, brother, you and I both, right? And held way too long past going 30x on my money. Now it's just a lotto ticket. Thanks again. Absolutely, brother. We're hoping you print up multiple storms on that. I did that back in 2020. I did it on a Canadian stock of all stocks. Not that Canadian stocks are bad, but they don't do nearly as much liquidity on the TSE, on the Toronto Stock Exchange, as we do on the NYSE or the NASDAQ. And I held this bad boy for like, I don't know, months, Joseph. And I had like 1,000 shares of like, I don't know, this 67 penny stock. I was like, I'm not losing on this. So I waited, I dropped down to 50, held 50, popped up to 65. I was like,
and then you're just gonna get out. Yeah, exactly. Just get out of that. Yeah, good plan there. Okay, so Stevenson had a great question. He said, Joe, can you elaborate more on just your adding, how you, like your system-wise and how you add into winning positions? Sure, and I would love to do so. As we climb higher here, this is where I would look to add. So we're going to use something live, an example on where you want to add. I don't Shreve DCAs, I free roll. It's just how different systems and how we operate. So what I want to do and why I want to do this. So right now I'm risking about half a risk unit, okay? And you hear Sharif and you hear Sean talk about risk units. So now I'm in at half a risk unit. Where's my stop loss? 10.95. If I get stopped out at 10.95, then I lose half a unit. Now, if we continue to climb higher and we break through key resistance zones and the volume is supporting it, as it slightly was here, this is where I would want to add into this position. But what happens when you add into this winning position? Your stop loss goes from 10.95 up to 11. Right? So if I were to have added right there, I would probably get stopped out relatively shortly. That's okay, but why do we want to do this? So in theory, right, we got to take this into consideration and into effect that what can possibly happen. So you can see that we're in this trade. It starts to climb higher, and then we break through the volume-weighted average price. But that volume is slowly starting to pick up here, candle after candle. And that's what you want to do. So in this example, I have a stop loss below the low of this range. I add into a winning position to make it larger and to go for the test of the pre-market lows. That stop now comes up into the middle of the range. Well, we talk about, hey, Joe, you don't necessarily want to put your stops in the middle of the range. You're right. But you also have to be forward-looking in the anticipation of the breakout. So that is exactly what I do. Now, I didn't add into any of these positions because why? The tape wasn't strong and the depth of this previous pullback. So what I was looking for, I go in half a risk unit, and then I'm looking for the high day. If we consolidate here and form that ABCD type price action, then I would add with the confirmation of tape into that position. So hopefully that helped. That's what you kind of want to aim for. Obi's great at it. A lot of these guys here on the floor are absolutely fantastic on adding into winners, Brankles, and Wayner. They're really, really good at it. And I was doing it slightly before, but I needed to hone in on it more to just make those winners slightly bigger. So yeah, that's the game plan. You want to let the thesis start working for. Understand when the underlying asset is taking breaths or when it is pulling back. So you can see within these breaths, I add into them, and then we start to slowly partial out, okay? So I think it's just you got to practice that, like Sharif said, and what someone else in the chat said as well. Rome wasn't built in a day. You got to continuously work at it, find what doesn't work. It's essentially a long process, a long trial and error process. Something that would be significantly longer than what you anticipate. If you think, oh, okay, well, I think I'll get this down pat within a span of 3 to 6 months. Okay, it's going to take you a year or two, all right? But just keep working on it. And one thing to understand, and what I was just I went on a nice long walk along the lake here in Toronto for all my Southern Ontarians. And I'm like, hey, just get back to the fundamentals, get back to what you know you're good at, and stick to it. And that's the case right here. So we're starting to squeeze in RGTI. It's unfortunate that I couldn't take any more stabs on QBTS, but I told you I'm gonna set a solid example, a really good example here for you guys, and abide by the rules. I showed you my rules and my game plan for today. Did I just go to a different ticker in the same space? Yes. But again, I like the setup here. It has been lagging its peer, and I think that we're going to get this continued breakout. 1120 is going to be the next target here in RGTI, Sharif. So that is my look. Let's see a lot. Yeah, Stevenson, you're very welcome. Pathik, yeah, I know. QBTS is breaking out really strong. One of the stronger names, up 140% since last week and continuing to climb 10% on the day. RGTI is still negative, Sharif, so not too good of a look. If you want to stick with strong quantum spaces, hopefully you didn't fire all your browns and you still have some magazines left to take those additional shots here in QBTS.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, good trade there on Rigetti. Joseph,
Thanks,
I think that you're going to get that 11:20 break quick as you like. QBTS, another name that Joseph was involved in today, this morning anyway. Look, good luck right now. It just broke through area highs. I'm talking about that 11:20 area. And yeah, I'm not talking about Rigetti. Rigetti and QBTS have very similar prices. They're both in that $11 and teen area. Like Rigetti's 11.16, QBTS 11.20. So yeah, you're going to have to be careful. Make sure you know which one you're trading there because very similar prices and obviously the same industry. Both are in quantum. So QBTS got a big boy break there. Not a big boy break. Well, a break through that 11.20. It got all the way to the extremely high price of 11.25 and then now is retracing again. So all these quantum names, I'm going to keep an eye on them. We got QUBT, we got RGTI, QBTS. We got all of them lined up, and we'll see which ones are going to trade in the right way, and I'll pack my patience for it. RGC has been kind of hanging out at VWAP for a while. So I'm starting to wonder if, you know, I really am missing my entry, or this is going to end up being a kind of a break through VWAP and an aggressive move down. I'm concerned about this one because it's a little spready. So if I get in here and I place my stop below VWAP, there could be substantial amounts of slippage. 15, 20 pennies, depending really on what phase it's in terms of its spread. So RGC has been hanging out here. I see VWAP at 17 and a fifth. It's showing me 17.46, so 17 and a half. Let's load up RGC. No, that's ARQQ. So that's the $17 area here on RGC. We had the initial one, we had an initial long on it there at 17 3/4, wet the beak all the way at 18 1/4. But you can see that's not a green triangle. That's kind of like a dark blue triangle. That means it was a partial fill. We didn't get the entire position. Trust me, I don't take huge positions. So the fact that we got a partial fill there just shows scarcity in that particular level. So here's what I'm going to do. I like this. I'm going to put a resting order at 17.20. So let's go ahead and put 17.20. Get it, Katina, man. What's going on over there? Oh, I appreciate you, brother, always. So we're going to put 17.20 right there for the VWAP dip, and then we'll put the stop right below this area low. So that's 16.81. So let's go ahead like that, and then we have to give it a bit more room there for the spread. So there we go. So we've got that on board now. Let's see what comes of it. The current position that we own, the only one that we've got on right now, is the short on Affirm. So we've taken out the majority of this, and I did add over here, and I did add, wet the beak on the way down. We are out of the money right now, though, as it's hanging out above $45. It's at the 50 exponential. So if this one continues on its way up, I've moved down my stop now from 45 1/4 to 45.15. So if it breaks and holds above that level, that's going to be the end of the trade for the little that we have left on AFRM. I'm still waiting to wet the beak there in the 44.40s, but we haven't gotten anything below 50. So the way I see it, I likely get stopped out here for the last remaining amount in a minute on AFRM as it works its way up into that 15 penny area. That is where I'm looking to get all out of that position. So we'll pack our patience. RGC still going unfilled at the 20 penny area. Let's see if that one wants to print. And then ARQQ. So this one was a really good entry. I got, not bottom wick or anything like that, but we got that $20 fill. We wet the beak up all the way into 20.55. The problem is, though, now we have a 2-candle red setup on the 5. And technically a lower high. So this area here, if we start retracing off that area, that's going to be an area high, that $21 area. And where did we see that $21 area before? Oh, I know, right at the opening. Well, not the open, at 10.15. We move up into 21, we drop all the way down to 18.5, and then we take out 21. We don't even take out 21. We take out 21.5 all the way up to 21 3/4. But this is starting to look like it could be a bit of a head and shoulders pattern. Now, it doesn't have to be. It could just be a lower high, but the lower high with a higher low. So that's the thing. If you don't end up making that neckline break on this ARQQ trade, then it won't be a head and shoulders pattern. It could just be a lower high over here, lower than that 2175, but then this area low ends up being higher than the previous area low. That means you still got an uptrend, right? You still have that possible ascending wedge, so to speak, or that higher low situation for a flat top, whatever. So I'm going to wait at the volume weighted average price, which is where my order has been waiting, the one that went unfilled. I think I'm going to move it up a little bit because I had it at 1960 because VWAP was at 1950. I'm going to move it up to 19 3/4. A few reasons for that. So VWAP's great. Yeah, we all know VWAP is being used by a lot of people, intraday traders, big money, blah, blah, blah. But I like this here a little bit better for price action support and resistance rather than just VWAP. So I'm going to move up my order from 1950 into about 1970s, maybe mid-70s, high 70s on ARQQ. I'd like to be able to catch a bit of a trend on this one. It looks quite good, especially if it can hold that VWAP area. So that's my thinking right now, Joseph. Still short firm, waiting to get stopped out. Still haven't been stopped out. RGC, we got a dip trade here on RGC for that volume weighted average price at around 1720. It's been very tight range though, RGC. Look at this. Ever since, having huge, wide, range per candle on almost every 5-minute candle, look at this. Since basically 12 o'clock or 11:55, the range per candle has really dropped off, and so has the volume. The volume's dropped off, the price ranges have dropped off, so now you're in a very tight consolidation. So be careful here, because if a big seller comes in, make sure there's a big buyer that could backstop that big seller. Well, how do you find that big buyer? You need to scour the level 2 on the left side to see if there's a big sized order waiting here at a posted gateway. And I can't see anything that amounts to substantial size on the buy side, on the bid side. So the answer to that on ARQQ is negatory. Let's have a look at RGCs or anything big boy on the bid side. Nothing, dude. Nothing. In fact, the heavier size is on the right side of that level 2, waiting at 19s with a bit more like 40 lots or something like that. Not really much there. So that's my thinking right now, guys. Still waiting on a firm. Looks like I didn't get stopped out as we're below 45 again. And still waiting on RGC to either trigger me at 17 1/5 or not, and ARQQ at the volume weighted average price, which I said I was going to move up, and that's exactly what I'm going to do right now. So we're going to go ahead and wait at 1975. Joseph Wilson.
Yes, sir. Yeah, guys, this is a prime example of a breakout not being sustained. So I'm so happy that we got out of this position. I posted up at 1120 in the paint there. Excuse me, but I didn't catch any fills, and then I posted a little bit lower, and still it just decided that it wanted to tank. And then when I seen the book flip and that volume really start to pick up to the downside, I'm like, okay, this is going to be a failed breakout. Get out. And then sure enough, as you can see exactly where I got out there at 1108. So even I took 2 cents on it. But again, I wouldn't want to be holding this because now I would have been stopped out break even once it broke this support level here and then continued into 1095. So that was a really nice winning trade that just turned out into a break even one, but that's okay. We're flat. We're in the exact same position. That's exactly why you don't hold on to losers for too long. I love that Neil says it's okay to be wrong, but you don't want to stay wrong. Just make sure you stay within those in those risk measures. And I'm glad that, I don't know, you weren't here, Sharif. I was just saying, when I went on my walk this weekend, I just really tried to hyper-focus, get back into my game and what I know I have the ability to do so. So yeah, I just said a little prayer by the water as I tend to do and just kind of hone in on what needs to be done. So yeah, I know you're big. I know you like I know you're really religious as well. So
oh yeah.
Yeah, guys. So looking at this, Katina Man says he's short the Qs. I like that trade from the Katina Man himself. Rejection of the volume weighted average price, and then continuing to the downside. Looking forward to test that low of the day, and then maybe run into those pre-market lows as well, guys. But if you want to stick with names that are strong, Hood strong, Walmart is strong, and the ADRs are really, really strong. We have Pinduoduo coming up this week as well. Micron is coming up this week as well too, Sharif. So those are going to be some really good names that I'm going to be looking forward to. Nike's going to be reporting reporting. So yeah, so there's I mean, it's like a B-list class. Yeah, Nike's this week. Yeah, so we're gonna see how the retailer is doing. Hopefully those inventories are starting to come down and people are starting to pick up some steam. But I mentioned this to you before and we talked about it. I'm still not seeing the Nike ads on some of the social media stream. I don't know what it's like on TikTok, but I don't see it on X. I don't see it on Snapchat, and I see everything else on there, whether it be Aloe or Gymshark. Like my Snapchat feed is littered with Gymshark. And then I don't know if you notice it at the gym. Do you notice that? I think a lot of the youth are wearing Gymshark these days. I don't know if you.
No, bro, I don't. Not my gym anyway. I gotta tell you the truth. I used to see a lot more Gymshark. You want to know the truth?
Yeah.
Like 2018 to 2020.
A little bit more.
A lot of Gymshark. I was. That's when I'd see them a lot more. I used to follow them on the gram. I still haven't been seeing that much, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, maybe my air is just a little bit different.
Yeah, maybe. I guess now that I mention it, you'll probably start to recognize
Did they change their logo?
No, they just it's the same logo, but they're starting to come out with more designs. So it's not just like the shark. You're seeing it in writing and more like the lifting team and stuff like that along those lines. But yeah, guys. So yeah, that's my thought on Nike. Alibaba is still hovering around. Let's see what we got going on from top volume as well to see if there's anything standoutish. I can already tell you what's going to be at the top of its class from a volume standpoint, and that's probably NVDA. It's unfortunate that it didn't continue Friday's move, but from a daily standpoint, you just look and be like, okay, I know Gorev and I would be like, yeah, Joe, there's nothing distinctive that says we're ready to turn around. Sorry, I take that back. NVIDIA has traded significantly better, 17% off of those lows. So this is a regular move, all right? So a nice bounce recovery compared to the other Mag 7 in NVDA. But yeah, let's go over some of these names. 131 million shares traded on the session with this name. INTC sitting in second place. OB traded this one. I haven't looked at the chart. When I ran my scans this morning, it popped up, and I'm like, oh, I do like this. But then I'm like, let me focus on the quantum spaces, something new. And there's a couple other tickers that I had in mind. Tesla in third place with 61 million, and then Palantir. Now, let's take a look at INTC from an intraday standpoint to see what we got cooking up. A nice daily breakout. I think this is going to be the next target here on INTC. Some positive news for it, which is really good for this name. Now, here we go. OB either shorted it right here into VWAP or we shorted it right here into VWAP. So good look here. It hasn't constructed a new high a day. Another positive, but a double bottom right here below VWAP at 25.43. So that bounce is really nice, and then it breaks through this pivot high here. So that is a good look. If you want to stick with strong names, always taking into account the 5-minute opening drive. Does it work all the time? No, but it can give you a good direction. Like, hey, if that drive is really strong, then look for those pullbacks in strength, lower volume on the pullbacks, and then you'll see that volume step in as we start to take a second leg in strong assets.
Ina Altaf, Sharif, why aren't you doing small caps today? I swear to you, I am. The position that I'm in right now, I know, are not small caps. I'm long trade desk for VWAP. That's the only reason I'm in TTD at VWAP. That's really, we're going to risk very little over here to try and catch a VWAP bounce. I mentioned this one was strong. It's up 2% at that $55 area. And Affirm, short. Yeah, I know that's obviously not VWAP either, but I was trading RGC, I traded ARQQ. Those are, for me anyway, kind of very small cap gapperish. I guess maybe you weren't around when I was trading them, but RGC, ARQQ, those are my favorite, as well as QMCO, small cap gappers. My only issue with RGC, it's not letting me in at the volume weighted average price. It's going away for me right now. It's almost up to 18. I'm waiting at 17.20. It's not letting me print. I'm also waiting on ARQQ at 1975. I want a VWAP bounce on this one. I am concerned, though, about ARQQ. Let me tell you why. We have a lower high over here. So what I perceive to be, this is an area high. That's an area low. That's another area high. This is another area low. And this is an area high. And then if we break below this, that'll be a lower high. So high, lower high, and then low, and then this will be another lower low. So that does concern me. Now, it doesn't mean that you're just going to tank off there all the way straight to the downside. You could find some support, but eventually we could probably lose the volume weighted average price on this. So I'm waiting, I believe, at 75 pennies on ARQQ. This one came down to 1991 on the current 5-minute candle. We'll have to see how far it wants to come down before we get printed. So now I'm still waiting on AFRM. I know you guys are asking me about this, but like, what the hell? Why isn't this coming down? It's really taking its sweet time. But what the thing is, it's not clearing the 50 exponential. The only reason I'm into this trade on Affirm is that 50 exponential. I perceived resistance here. I perceived more resistance here, and then look at this. I mean, it's closer to it than it's ever been, but it's not clearing the 50 exponential. And it hasn't been since I got in at 1120. It's been really straddling the 50 exponential from the high side. But the problem is we're not even getting a VWAP retracement. So somebody's buying up a storm on Affirm, preventing this from coming down anymore for me to getting any better prints than the one that I've gotten so far. I'm going to pack my patience and see what comes. What else can I do? So that's the situation. Here we go. Now it's showing me 60s again. I'm still waiting in the 50s, and I won't move up my order. I just won't. So that's the look there. RGC, we went unfilled, as I mentioned. That one, no good. ARQQ, we're still waiting. Over here, I'm waiting at 75s. It's showing me 93s now on the ask, so we'll see what we get there. Trade desk, I wet the beak at 55.10s. Now I'm waiting at 55.20s. I'm only in trade desk TTD for the VWAP dip. I want to make that very clear. My stop is right below that area VWAP line, so I'm getting out of this 54.88 if it does breach. So I'm literally giving it to the area low. Prior bar low is what we say around these here parts. Shout out to Real Dang Trading, the best prop firm around these parts. Joseph, love that.
Yes, sir. Let's go. I got nothing going on, so I'm just gonna put the J Power recheck. Yeah. If you want, yeah. I see there's one from DJ 2AM in there for you.
Sharif, is there a number I should have my momentum indicator at, or how many minutes should I wait? I just jumped in on one, and the indicator went south really quick. Well, explain to me more about what you're doing, brother. I mean, you didn't give me enough information there. I want to know what your move is. Are you looking at these small cap gappers? Are they above or below VWAP? Are they above the pre-market high? What's the R-vol on the day, etc.? Is it a former runner? Have you seen these wicks, these huge moves on the daily only to give back the entire thing? Give me more information, brother. I'd love to help you out with these small cap gappers. So much do I love them, but you got to give me a little bit more for me to help you out there. Tag me again so that I can see that you're asking me the question there. I do appreciate it. Diggity Jacobs, Sharif, taking TTD. Are you seeing this rounded bottom on the 5-minute? What more do you need beyond VWAP to add? My man, are you not looking at the position board or what? We're long TTD. And we just took another print right there, Joseph Wilson. Oh, man. All right, so we just took out 20s. So very please as dang punch, as Adair would like to say, usually sometimes. She hasn't said it lately, but it's fine. Now we're going to wait at the $0.25. So TTD, we got long 55s. Let's see if it holds. We just wet the beak there at, I believe, 20s. And now we're going to wait a little bit higher. So that's the look right now. But Alibaba, guys, I don't know what the hell is going on with Alibaba. I know you're involved in a trade, Katiman, but I got to bring this to your attention. Bull flag breakout on Alibaba. It's up like a rocket. So I know you guys have been looking at these Chinese ADRs, so I thought I'd let you know that. Yeah.
Like a rock. Remember those old, remember those Chevrolet.
Yeah, bro, those are, they always play through the hockey.
Yeah,
game, like,
and then you see the truck that just comes up on the.
So jokes.
Yeah, that's
it's
funny.
Anything but a rock.
Yeah, exactly.
Things made out of jelly, bro.
Okay, I see it. So now we know how Sharif feels about Chevrolet.
If I had to choose, my old man was a Ford guy growing up.
Ford, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm a Ford guy. If I had to choose, I wouldn't buy a Ford now, but yeah, Ford over GM and Chrysler.
Oh, okay. I like the Warthog.
I don't know how you feel.
The Ram.
Ram,
yeah, I like the Warthog. Yeah,
my buddy's got a Ram. He loves the Ram, bro.
Okay, let's see. Okay, sir. Paper hands, we'll call them, all right? Had a rough weekend accepting Joseph doesn't go for pie and cake, but appreciate what everyone on Trader TV does. I started out at WSB, thank God, found my way here. Thank you. Hey, don't lose sleep over me in the pie game, all right? That's not something that we want to have nightmares about. It's funny, my buddy was talking to me over the weekend, and his girlfriend was telling him that he was sleep talking. And he's like, oh, no, don't go in the closet. He sleep talks. I've known him for a long time, and he sleep talks, right? And he's like, no, don't go in the closet. And his wife was messing on him, and she's like, no, it's Jake from State Farm in there. And he's yeah. So he's just having nightmares about insurance.
And in the khakis.
Yeah,
and he wears the sickest khakis, Jake from State Farm.
Yeah, so that was funny. Yeah, I mean, sorry, my friends.
So good.
No lemon meringue pie. I know they were talking about that, and all these other pies. It's just not. It's not your boy style. You know what I mean? Try to keep it relatively healthy. But yeah, here we go, guys. Haven't talked about IBIT that often here today. And I want to take a look at it from a daily perspective, is that you can see that we're putting in somewhat of this inside day, and I think that's what we were going to look at. When I ran my scans earlier this morning and I did my early morning technical analysis, I'm like, okay, I believe it's going to be an inside day. We had the inability to open up and sit on top of this 48 level, and from where we were just sitting on a Camarilla pivot structure, when I look, we were just mid-range, right? Or sorry, we were at S4, but then we were trading in the pre-market just to mid-range, and that can insinuate like, hey, yeah, you're going to get a little bit of choppy price action. So yeah, that's my look on IBIT. Gonna wait for a hold of VWAP, and then maybe we'll participate, and hopefully that breakout can come, but we're gonna need that volume to be sustained. It is starting to pull back, but again, these ADRs are really strong. BABA going to go and test the high day once again, up a multiple percentage on. Actually, it wasn't when it was this high, it gapped down. Okay, yeah, so it's gonna be positive now. So yeah, good look there on that one. K-Web still waiting for this pullback. Not getting it, guys. We're holding these levels really, really strong, and you can see how we're respecting VWAP the whole way. And if I wanted to mark out some moving averages, you would have the 9 coming in through here, right? Then you'd have the 20 coming in just a little bit below that. And I remember when I was reading my first TA books, you can just learn to gauge them after a while and not have to necessarily label them. So if I didn't even have them on there and I would have put them, I would be relatively close, because you can see that the 9 hugs price action a little bit more, and then the 20 would be next, 50, and then the 100, whatever it may be. So let's see if that continues to hold. Nice, strong trend line in K-Web. XPEV, okay, so yeah, XPEV reports tomorrow morning. I think this is going to be an exciting one for whatever it may be. We'll zoom out from a daily standpoint, and yeah, wow, like what a really nice run we've gone on. So these Chinese names trading really well. We're a little bit off of that 27.23 local high there, but I think if it has a solid report, we can punch through it, because the space is relatively strong there, Sharif. So I'm going to be looking forward to XPen's report tomorrow around 24.41 trading right now. Going to be patient, wait for VWAP to come in on IBIT, and then maybe we can get a bounce.
You feel like with that run up that you just showed there, Joseph, they either better below this earnings report,
right? Exactly. Or it's going to,
you know what?
Yeah. Stuff's gonna hit the fan.
Yeah, something's hitting something.
Something's gonna hit the fan. You know?
That's the look right now. Yeah, look, I'm gonna show you guys what XPEF's car looks like. Where we have time on the midday, we'll do like that whole build out.
Yeah, can we build one?
Yeah, we'll see if we can do the Hong Kong website, get it in English, right? Like we did with the Tesla Juniper when it first came out. Guys, I gotta tell you about this one. Shout out to Buvin, man. Buvin, you always come through. I can't keep my eye on the scanner at all times, but you're my secondary scanner, Buvin. QNTM. It's a quantum name. And the thing about this one is it's moving up big. So you've got like the, it's in vogue right now with all these quantum names all moving up at the same time. And we've got March 20th, Nvidia's quantum name. And then you have the best ticker, possibly QNTM. I think it's better than QUBT, QBTS, RGTI, and all the other ones. QNTM, the one with the best ticker, breaking out 65%. Just broke through 8. Good look right now. 843 HOD. It's doing the dance with no pants with that $8 area. It is a bit of a spreadier ticker. I'm talking about 13 pennies. Now, yeah, wide, 13 pennies. Now 8. So it's zigging and zagging right now with that $8 level, in addition to that wider and narrower spread. So be careful with this one. While you're being careful, you can listen to me tell you a little bit about it. So it is an $18 million market cap, having traded only 1.6 million shares on the day, but I'll submit to you the volume just started coming in. This is a trade de novo. The volume just started coming in at 12.25. It did volume before that, but it was light volume. The float is around 40.2 or 0.3 million shares, with the short float being, I don't have it here, okay. Well, by the way, Trade Ideas is telling me 1.6 million share float. My platform is telling me 40.3 million share float. So be careful with this one, certainly, okay? Because we don't even really know what the situation is with it. So QNTM, big boy break right now. We're going to keep an eye out on it. We're killing it on Trade Desk right now. We just popped up into 30. We're doing real well on this one. Just wet the beak there at 30. Now I'm going to wait into the high 30s. We're going to wait there to see if we can get some more out on TTD. Again, Trade Desk, I know I don't typically trade these small cap or these larger mid-cap names, but this one was brought to me by, shout out to John Del Segno at Chat OG. I happen to like the pullback into VWAP, and that's why I got into this monster. So we're going to keep an eye out there. Randy, XPEV reports tomorrow, and I don't know if you've had an opportunity to look at the chart on XPEV. It's a dang rocket ship. It's almost at these pandemic levels. Like we're talking 25 bucks, 30 bucks, possibly into that level. So we're going to do a midday EV build out on the, we're going to try to go to the Hong Kong website so we can get it in English, so everybody can follow along. Obviously, we can't compare the prices because that's pre-tariff, pre-destination, all that stuff, right? By the way, kind of digressing a little bit there with you. I was actually doing a bit of a comparison there. The BYD seal, I know you've heard of it.
Yep.
So I was looking at what they sell it in China for and how much they sell it in Mexico, Randy. Markedly different. It's literally double the price.
Okay, but they have to get it there.
I know. Yeah.
They're not building locally yet. There's implications, but yes, I know. It's shopping elsewhere has its benefits.
That's what I said. I said, ChatGPT, explain this to me. It's like, well, there are several reasons, my friend Sharif. There is the destination. There's the tax on it. Also, Mexico has a, you can say a bit more of a premium buyer, especially if you have the Americans coming into Mexico to pick up these cars. So they got to think of that and price them accordingly.
Of course. No, interesting shot. I want to see this. Go for it.
Okay, we're going to do it. All right, let's do this. So let's get, Joseph, you good with that?
Yeah, of course.
All right, anything you want to add before we start?
I'm in some RGTI once again. Nice recovery. It is chopping around in this zone. If it continues to do so, then I'm just going to leave the space because it doesn't want to break out just yet. We're going to have to curl over a little bit more here in order for us to look like it wants to break through. It can happen today. Just have to be a little bit more patient, I think.
Okay, keep going because I'm.
All right, you're gonna set it up there, yeah. And also IBIT as well too. No worries. Also IBIT as well, guys. Coming into VWAP, positive sign. Hopefully this can be sustained. But again, we're just rejecting a lot of resistance zones and coming back into the space, and that's what's looking like is happening here on RGTI. So I'm just gonna hop out here, guys. That's it for Quantum today. It's chopping around, multiple failed breakouts. Got to find something that's relatively strong here. Again, be patient, sit on our hands for a little bit, and wait for that top-notch setup to come into play. Now, what's everybody else looking at? QNTM is over by, but yeah, it seems like it's done. A nice little pop, and then wasn't sustained. Sellers came back in and won that battle. Pizza Rat. Why is Hood so moving today? $41. Yeah, I know, Pizza Rat. I was looking at that. Someone in the chat mentioned it really early, and it's trading well. I mentioned how good this name is. The Q4 numbers were fantastic. So yeah, stick to those strong names and strong reports, and that's what that Hood is. So fintech. I told you I'm going to look to liquidate some Tesla and then rotate over into some Hood. But again, we can't get this move on Tesla. Down another 7%. That is, it's mind-boggling how negative everything is in this name. And if we zoom out from a daily perspective, are you ready? Okay. All right, cool. So again, I think it's going to break 220 there, guys. That's where we have the most levels of open interest, only 14 points away. So. All
right. Doesn't look like we can build this, Joseph, but we're going to have a look through it here. This is the G6. So I think this is kind of like their best SUV. They have multiple, as you can see. They have the G9. But this one is kind of like that coupe-looking G6. 550 kilometers worth of range, 10 to 80% in 20 minutes. And we should probably take the opportunity quickly here. Randy, are you still there? No, he's not. He's gone. So, guys, this headline did come in earlier today. BYD has introduced a revolutionary charging system that can charge their Han 8 model with 292 miles of range in just 5 minutes. That did come in midday from BYD. The reason I'm talking about that is I thought it was appropriate to mention that since we're talking about 10 to 80% in 20 minutes. 4.1 seconds is the 0 to 100 time on this monster. I happen to like this shape a little bit more than others. I don't know how you feel about this. Let's see what that midnight black looks like.
Yeah,
okay.
that's
how
me
about
right
that
there.
orange?
No,
that
I think that can age. I think that doesn't age well.
Right?
Yeah,
Silver's
it doesn't age
okay.
well.
That I don't know. I like these. Have you seen these matte gray colors? They call
like
them Nardo gray.
I like them.
Yeah, some of those ones are really
I like
good.
that midnight black too, though.
Let's see what else we got here. Power up with precision, surrounding comfort seats. So you've got air-conditioned seats, ventilated, I should say, heated, and it looks like these ones are massaged as well. Yeah, we're not able to build it out, obviously, so there's not much I can show you other than the pictures. We'll just look at some of these pictures. Good storage in there. This is my favorite one that XPeng has to offer. This is their G6. Let's see what they got. The X9. What's this one look like, Joseph? Let's find out what the X9 looks like. It's a van. That's not going to work out for me. Bye. All right, let's go to the G9. Okay, that kind of looks like the B-Class of the Mercedes, all right?
It does.
A little bit like the Li Auto, too.
It gives a little Range Rover vibes a bit too there. I think.
Little Velar, Range Rover Velar vibes. Good call on that. Let's see what the P7. They got a P7 up in that bad boy. Okay, so that's a sedan. Kind of looks like the Xiaomi SU7 for anybody who knows. That looks definitely like the Xiaomi. How about that P5, Joseph? Let's see what the P5 is all about. Probably another sedan.
I like
a little bit smaller. Okay, I can get behind that. Not
nice
too
trunk
bad.
space there. It looks like it got some.
Looks like it's a hatchback, right?
Yeah.
You can probably open up that bad boy into the back there. All right, last but not least over here, the G3i.
Need a better angle of that.
Yeah, what the hell's up with that? Let's zoom down. Okay.
I like that.
I see that.
I know we like that in there, Sharif.
Oh, no question about it, Joseph. Let's see what we got. Yeah, okay, this one looks like their smallest car. This looks like the smallest one that they have to offer. But I got to tell you, that lineup is not bad. That is not a bad lineup. If they can make those in any significant number and try to take on Tesla in terms of volume, I like how the newer cars and the newer models are starting to transition to that light bar across the front there. I like that. Yeah, I like the light bar, man. Yeah, I like the light bar. It's a little bit different, more standard than your just two there. And I know Ford has some nice ones as well on the F-150, some nice light bars. And yeah, it's very EV-ish.
Yeah, exactly, very EV-ish. So,
I just want to mention this TTD, Trade Desk, guys. Best out we've got was 30s. It's coming back down now. You better believe that I'm moving up my stop on Trade Desk from below that $55 area. I will look to defend 55. I don't want to deal with a lower high, okay? That's not the move here. If we get a micro pullback, like say a 2 candle pullback on the 5, fine. That's normal. 3, then we get 3 green, 4 green, then we get 2 red, fine. On our way up. But if we're going to put in a lower high and flat bottom break through a previous area of support, I'm talking about 55, then this is not the trade for me. So I'm going to move up my stop from 54.88 into 55s on TTD. Let's see how our other trade is doing. The short that we've had on Affirm, keeps coming down into 60s, but that's as low as it can get. So I think I will move up my beak wetter now from mid 40s into 60s. We're not able to break above 60s on AFRM, break below 60s on AFRM. So I've already moved down my stop. So if this breaks above 45.15, I get stopped out for the last remaining amount, but I will move up my order on this one to try to get the print, and then I'll leave one little order for the piece for the dream, so to speak there. So that is what I'm looking at on AFRM. Eddie, Sharif, if you change your Jag for one of these cars, the myth will fall for me. Oh, wow. Really, eh? So if I go EV, that's it. There's no dialogue between you and I anymore? Like, what is that? Like, is that all our relationship is based on, even though we don't know each other? Shout out to Eddie R. His name is Eduardo. He was quite impressed with me how I said Eduardo last week. Yeah, he was happy about that. Shout out to Eddie R. Look, Eddie, man, I mean, I like EVs. I'm just going to be super selective about the car I get next. And, you know, a lot of the EVs that I like, I quite frankly can't afford. I'm talking about the R1S. It's just beyond my price range anew. And some of these other ones as well that are not even available. I'm talking about the Lucid Gravity. It's not available either. So I'm going to be super picky, or I'm going to have to wait to get them used, right? A few years used. gets into my price range. So that's my look there. D. Westermeyer. My 2024 VW Taos has a pretty cool light bar and wicked bright lights that move around. It's just a four turbo, 4-cylinder, no EV. Doesn't matter, man. I think that's kind of what's in vogue right now with the style of cars. You even see it on the Juniper. I know that's EV. You know that's not even a light bar at the back of the new Model Y? No. It's like this light effect that they have shining on like a reflective surface that makes it look like a model, a light bar.
A light bar on the back, yeah. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's something new, right? So got to take that next stop. So I don't mind it at all. Okay, I don't know what you're referring to.
What happened?
Nathan Penna. He says he's I don't know. Anyways, gonna ignore that. The guy, the guy wants to no more beak wetters. He said, but we can't promise any of that, there, my friend. Exactly, we both hit it.
I love how there's prints in that. Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah,
did that well, eh? Look at the prints in there.
I wonder why is the fluid in there so dark? Is it some rum or something? Maybe.
What'd you say? Look at his charts, because he copied my charts for that. Yeah, shout out to Fabian.
Shout out to Fabian. Yeah, guys, let's see. Holding VWAP nice on IBIT. Thesis is if we crack the low, this pivot on IBIT, then we're just going to get out of this trade. Rallying nice. The market wants to get somewhat of a bounce here. Tesla down 5 to 6%. I'll get an exact number. But again, surprisingly that the Qs are holding up relatively strong. So 6.5% here on Tesla. Not a good look. I'm glad that the overall market is still holding up half decently steady. I know Katina Man's short, but we are just range bound, and you can see that we have been trading in essentially inside of Friday's session. We broke through it, but then just came back right back into the range here, guys. But yeah, IBIT starting to break out. Want to stick with these strong names. Good look here. Couple pennies, couple cents in the money. Let's see if this can be sustained. I'm going to look for that higher low or the break of this high. It may take some time, and as long as we don't crack 47.25, thesis is going to be valid, so I'm going to hold on to this one. We'll take a look at it from a daily standpoint and just what my idea is. So if we can sit on top of 48, I do believe that we can continue to climb higher and then get into 48, 50, 49, whatever it may be. So that needs to hold, the VWAP needs to hold, and a lot of things, especially the market, need to come into play. Los Pollos Hermanos, my guy, I am an IBIT. 2 near the lows. Let's go. Nice work, my friend. Let's see where you're in at around the lows. So if you're on around 46.90 or the 47s, I think you're sitting pretty, and hopefully that we can sustain this move. We are constructing higher lows, which is also a positive signal here, guys. If it breaks that 47.30, then there might be some more downside. Hopefully, Bitcoin can really get the ball rolling. We've been patiently waiting, and how much longer do we have to wait, Sharif, until this breakout really comes in? Let's pull up the actual underlying assets to see what we got cooking up from a daily standpoint. Yeah, I know it's tough.
To 70,
but this is you think you're good with 70? Okay, I love it. He's going to be waiting in at 70s. That's right back into this breakout range that we got from November of last year, Sharif. But again, I'll say it multiple times, this consolidation phase was a little lackluster in considering the period, the length of period, right? So from March all the way to November, then we get that breakout, and then the move wasn't necessarily sustained. You got a little bit of a new high here, but then we just failed it and just came back into the range. Again, and I was reading some more Bitcoin stuff over the weekend, and we know that Satoshi has 1 million of these things. I'm curious as to why, so if he has 1 million and you can read the ledger, how come you can't identify which wallet was his or something along those lines? I don't know if I'm saying that right, but you can identify transactions, so why can't you identify his 1 million Bitcoin?
But isn't that what always happens? Like when I read articles coming from Benzinga or wherever else, like, oh, some whale, some dormant wallet that's been dormant since, I don't know, like 2021, all of a sudden woke up and sold or bought or whatever, and they never attribute the name. They just always say this wallet, that wallet. So isn't that how it always works?
I think so. But again, there's not necessarily always a name behind the wallet too, right? For the know your customer ones, obviously you'll have a name behind it, but then that's where I guess what's the word I'm looking for? The privacy comes into play, and the decentralized aspect of Bitcoin. You can't really know everybody's wallet. You can just trace it to certain IP addresses.
Yeah, and
stuff like that.
If I start my own coin too, or on the Solana network, right? Is there like an identifying number that everybody has to have on that Solana network that kind of makes everything traceable for that particular wallet?
Maybe. I'm not familiar with Solana too much. So yeah.
Yeah, so one of these individuals, let's call him that. He's a gym individual that I used to know.
Oh yeah, I think you were telling me.
He started out his own meme coin, which I'm not even going to mention, but yeah, I always see him pumping that on his gram, and he's always giving the number out. So I figured that was probably something.
You know what's funny? We never really heard from that Huktua girl after all of this.
I'm shocked, Joseph.
So she just took it and ran, I guess. Does she have is she still doing it? Oh, okay. So she's sitting on some pretty pennies.
I don't like that, man. I told you I felt about Trump coin. Apparently, Melania coin's up big today.
Is it?
Don't know why Melania's coin's up big, but I was doing my BTC review this morning, and they were like, Melania coin.
That's funny.
Fantastic.
But here we go, Sharif. We're cooking up here. 47.50 was that target that we ran into here on IBIT, starting to climb higher. We're going to wait for this break of the high a day. Is it going to come to play? Maybe. But even if we have a little bit of a higher low, that'll be fine. That'll bring me into 47.50, and then maybe we can climb into 47.60s and then reject that level there, Sharif.
All right, we're in QNTM now. So this one did pop down into the 10 exponential, and when it did, it got bought up really aggressively. So we're long 83s, just went the beak there at 95s. Now I'm going to wait at 99s, and then I'm going to wait a little bit above 8. My out is the break of the $0.50. 70.50 has to hold. I will not trade this. I will not DCA into this one. This one is kind of a, it's dicey. And the reason I say dicey is because it's a midday mover. It popped up midday. The volume started coming in at around like 12:15, 12:30. It started bull flagging at around 8. And that's what I was watching this one for around 15 minutes. Multiple topping tails of indecision, both higher and lower, high wicks and low wicks. So we'll see which one, which way this one wants to trade. Let's go ahead and throw the stop in right now and see what comes of this one. So we're involved with QNTM at the moment, trying to look for a move back into that $8 level, looking to back with the beak there multiple times on the way up. Here we go with Trade Desk. We're going to take the print there. Boom. Oh, man.
No. You did it.
I got the print, and then I took out the last one. So that was a mistake. Fat finger there. Trade Desk, profitable trade, poor execution. Took it out there at 40s and 39s. A bit of a mistake there. This one was a VWAP retracement on TTD. It's up 2 2/3%. Let's see if it can get back into that $56 level. I was a little worried about this one because we definitely had that that move back. It was like very V-shaped retracement-ish on the day. We pop up at the open, we retrace right back into that pre-market area consolidation. We make a new high, we drop down below VWAP. So it really hasn't. It's been a bamboozler on the day, put it that way. We'll see how this one ends up trading. All right, so QNTM, the only one I'm involved with right now. Let me give you the levels on this one. Let's talk a little bit about it and what my plan will be on QNTM. So we obviously have multiple topping tails into that 8.5. All the while, we're still above the 10. We're still above VWAP. The 10 just got above VWAP right now. One of those anomalies where VWAP was trading above the 10 for a moment. That's changed since then. We're break even on it. We're long 783. It's showing me 86s at the moment. So we're going to see if we can get something above 8. QNTM, anything below that volume weighted average price, which just fortunately is also at the $0.50 right now, 750. Anything below 750, I'm gonzino on that one. So QNTM with the best ticker in the business for quantum names, in my humble opinion, looking to take out some levels. All right, we just got another print there as it got into 8. Now we're waiting at 8.15, 8.04s, 8.06s, 8.10s now. Let's see if we can get the print, 64% and going over here. The volume coming into the high side now showing me 11s. We're still waiting though, so we're gonna have to pack our patience on that one. Joseph Wilson, we'll see if we can get the print on this. QNTM, good look. QBTS just lost VWAP. Okay, so let's talk about this one because there is bamboozlement right now in quantum world. QBTS has been very respectful of the volume weighted average price most of the day. There have been these times, as you can see here, this is the 1 minute on QBTS, where we've breached the volume weighted average price, but in large swaths, of the trading day, we actually defended it. I mean, you can kind of see where the white line is and where the price bounces off. We just lost the volume weighted average price right now, and obviously lost $11 on our way down. So bit of a tougher look there. Keep your eye out on that one. Bang! We take out QBTS there to the high side. Joseph Bolson.
Hey.
So we'll see if we can get some more on this. We're exhausted now in terms of shares. Definitely looking for some more. Let's put another dip trade on this one, though. Where does said dip trade go? I'm going to try to catch the money fills below $8. Let's see if we can get something in the low 90s there. Some money fills there possibly for an 847 high day break. We have a double top right now on QNTM at that 750 area. 850 area, 847 technically. Let's see if we can get anything in and around there. D. Westermeyer. Sharif, take a look at the Dow contract. Keeps rejecting 41.8. Say less. Let's pull out the YM. YM is the ticker for me for the Dow March contract. Let's go pull that bad boy Dow Mini Futures. Show yourself. There we go. Oh, great. Look, D. Westermeyer. Wow, that's a flat top break if I've ever seen one. And here's the deal. You know, not very obvious, but the lows, D, are a little bit higher on every successive trough. Let's take the one that starts at 9, or this is 10 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Central. Look at this low over here, 41.6. That's the low. Then over here, we kind of defend 41.650. That's the low. And now it's 41.7. That's a low. So we're incrementally higher lows all the while. 42,000, an absolute line in the sand today for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. It's up, Joseph, 2/3 of a percentage point. So not a bad look there. Let's type in Dow Jones, like Mike Jones. We're going to throw that in there.
I think everybody went. If there's one universal phone number, it's Mike Jones.
Mike Jones. I like
281-330-8004. Everybody knows Mike Jones' phone number.
Well done there, Joseph. Well done. Roland Joe. Got to do something with this fat fingering, my man. It's affecting your trading. Brother, what can I do? I suck as an individual. I suck as a trader. I will look to do better. I always make these mistakes, entering in size a little bit differently. I do apologize for those mistakes, but hopefully those don't come on to you guys. The stupidity will stay on this side of the screen. Joseph, what do you got?
Yeah, we're starting to piece out here, guys, in IBIT climbing higher, so working out pretty well. It looks like we're putting in that lower high right now. I posted up at 47.55 to take off the majority of the position. Hopefully we don't come back into the break even, because then I'll just have to cancel that and then get out of the trade altogether. And Bear versus Bulls, thank you for all those points. I beat you in the duel. So there you go. I was, hey man, I'm like, here, I'll bet somebody for all my points, and then BBB did it, and I beat him. So yeah, here we go, guys. Back into these markets. Walmart continuing to hover around those highs. 87.33. That's a strong name. K-Web was slowly grinding higher here, Sharif, and almost put in a new high a day, but we failed up there. It doesn't seem overly liquid. So just keep that in mind. It was earlier in the session, but then the liquidity just started to die down. I know someone in the chat asked me to take a look at Monogram Technologies. That is MGRM. And I tried to please the people that we love to hang around with every day. So yeah, let's take a, okay. So Siren, nice Katina, man. Let's go, Siren. But here we go, guys. Nice look here. Nice breakout volume on Monogram Technologies. I know they're involved with 3D printing and something and AI technology. Looking good. This is what you want to see on this style of breakout. Let's take a look from an intraday standpoint to see what it's got going on. See, my issue is it's just all this overlapping candles here, and then again liquidity issues on the 5-minute time frame. If we were to zoom in onto the 1 minute, and we would see the same thing. So not necessarily something I would be involved in from an intraday standpoint, but if you believe in what they can do, then by all means take a swing at it. Hopefully that breakout can be sustained for you guys. That volume is there. If it fails, just get back out and then look for a secondary entry. I do like this IBIT trade. Nice climb up higher here. Am I going to add to this position? I think so. Feeling it today, Sharif, so we may as well get involved. There we, oh no, why did we do that? Okay, let me see what we can do. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Now we're adding for the break of this pivot, guys. If we can get up to 47.55, then I think 47.60 is in the works.
All right, QBTS is continuing to lose the bid here, guys, at VWAP. We were talking about this one losing VWAP. We are not at area lows quite yet, so technically still a higher low if you're looking for a pattern on QBTS. We certainly still, do have higher lows. And I'll submit to you guys that I think the money fills on QBTS today have all been below VWAP because we keep breaching VWAP. VWAP here kind of reminds me of a line of best fit where it's neither support nor resistance for the most part. It may have times where it acts as support and resistance, like you can kind of see over here, kept bouncing off VWAP, but it does feel like the middle line of the price action, the line of best fit. So I'm going to get in. I'm going to get into QBTS long here like a psycho, and I'm going to put my my area out below this area low. I'm talking about this 10 2/3 area where I perceive there to be a support. So let's go ahead and load up this over here, QBTS. Let's go. Oh, QBTS is on the New York. Okay, yeah, forgot about that. That's okay. Everything's fine. We're going to go long here. And I'm going to place my stop, again, like I mentioned, below this area low. So I will give it to 10.59. So we're going to go ahead and throw that stop out there right now. And we'll put it just like that. Okay. Where'd we get along? 76s. So then you know how we do. We're going to layer our orders for the pop-up. This is how we do.
Ooh.
All right. So we're going to go just like that. Let's see if we can get the print to the high side right now. On QBTS, it feels every bit of Monday. My brain is functioning as I would expect it to on Monday, which is at a snail's pace right now. So we'll see if this QBTS money fills below VWAP is just a pipe dream or it's the real deal. We're showing 82s. I'm waiting at 82s. It's not crossing, so we won't get the fill quite yet. But I did layer the orders. Let's see if they come into play. I'm also keeping an eye out of firm. So this is a mistake by me. So the flat top break came. That $45 level, that was obvious. So I stopped out, not a big loser on that one. But the problem with me is I wasn't quick to flip long. Why not, man? This was a level of resistance literally for an hour and a half. It got taken aggressively. Why are you not looking long? I'm talking to myself here. Now it's at 46. That's a $1 winner. And I was trying to eke out 30 pennies on the short on this, so I got that one wrong. $46 right now on AFRM. It's only down 8 1/5. And by saying only, I'm being funny about that. Here we go. Back to QBTS. We got the 82 fill. Now I'm waiting at 88s. It just showed me 88s, but it didn't cross. Let's see if we can get that big move up and then a move into 11 bucks. Again, the only reason I'm in QBTS, I perceive the money fills to be a little bit below the volume weighted average price. We'll see if we get that or whether we get this one wrong as well. So showing me 88s or, yeah, that's the situation. AFRM, let's talk a little bit about this one. I digressed from it for a second. Let's talk about where we could expect resistance now that we have that big boy break above that flat top at 45. So we're into 46 and this current 5-minute candle has a high of 46.10. All right, so I perceive there to be all sorts of resistance at 47, and that's not just a shot in the dark because, oh, the 200 exponential on the 5 is there. No. Look at this area. Crest over here, all the way from 8:35 a.m. till 9:30 a.m. There was all sorts of selling at $47 on a closing basis as well. Nary a print above that $47 level. So if we do work up into that $47 level on AFRM, which would necessitate a high a day breach, by the way, because the high of the day right now is 46.79, because all this action here was in the pre. I will be looking to go short AFRM at 47. Let's see if that level comes. In fact, I like that level so much, we're going to throw an alert there to be, I like very much, Katina, man. So we're going to throw it a $0.25 to be made aware of that move in if it does come. Let's see if we got the prints there. We got all sorts of prints here on QBTS to the high side into 90. Appreciate you, Katina, man. But we're still not clearing $11. So one print, went unfilled, and that's the one at the 10 high 90s. I'm moving up my stop now, guys, from that 10.59. It will go into 10.69 come what may. What do you got?
Wow, we're cooking up over here.
I like that. We need something. You got that
here we
cooking
go,
animation, Katina Man?
There we go. We're cooking up. We're chefing up. Katina Man, Guess who scored the game winner on Sunday? Your boy.
Hey!
There we go.
I was like thinking of the Leafs game. Like, did they get smoked?
Your boy did. Yeah, no, we did.
Good job,
man.
bro.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man.
Good job, man.
Appreciate it, especially coming off some injury and off for some time. Feels good to get back on the winning side of things here, guys. And here climbing a little bit higher. No, we don't got the game footage. The opposing goalie was filming it, but I don't know him, or I don't want to ask. Be like, hey, buddy, let me see how I got that game winner on you. Live Barn, yeah, for my league games, yeah, but this was at McCormick. This was a different league. So Live Barn on Canlan, and then some guys just film it at that. But here we go, guys. Nice trade here and a nice ad here at 47.5 on IBIT climbing. It looks like we're gonna go and test this high a day. If we do fail, then I'm just gonna draw a trend line, and then maybe we continue to the downside. But let me post up on the bid right here, guys. It's gonna take a little bit more off. And there we go, we caught a fill, so nice climb. One thing I want to note is that I wasn't overly excited about this ad because of where I'm at. I would have liked to get in a little bit lower, like 5 or 6 cents lower, but that's okay. As it broke through that pivot, we just continued to climb higher. Yeah, Stevenson, thank you guys. About to come back to that first, yeah, exactly. Well, hey man, I'm just chilling on the minutes, right, just due to the old knee there. So I'm not playing as much as I want. I always just let people cycle in front of me, and I'll just go out every other shift. Nice. Was feeling pretty good on Sunday, so I took it up. Yeah, okay, yeah, so we got the Playmaker coming up as well, too. Can't find you on Elite Prospects. Yeah, not yet. That's funny there. Drop the highlight reel. Yeah, we're going to have to put that together for the people. That would be exciting. But, guys, we got something that we have to do, Sharif.
Oh, I'm ready.
You're ready. I'm not ready quite yet. We'll pull that up. Here we go. All right, guys, it's time for the Playmaker poll. What were the statistics, Ramin? Who won this one? The longs, I'm going to assume here? The longs, all right.
64-36.
Hold on, give me a second.
Two-thirds to a third.
All right, 63. All right, let's see what we got. What are we in at here, Sharif?
564.85.
564.85.
We're going to take profits above the high of the day, man. 566.85.
That's going to be a tough one there to get the ball rolling, my friend. And then we're going to stop out at 563.65. Here we go, guys. Thank you for that. We are in at 110 there, folks. Wow, Mondays really do fly by. Let's see what today is the 17th, right? Hopefully I got that time right. And it's going to be a nice week here in Southern Ontario, apparently. So it's going to be nice to get back outside. I'm like, what was going on out here when I went for my walk on Saturday? I'm like, why is everybody wearing green? And what is going on? And people out on their patios, it's St. Patrick's Day. Nice, so yeah, there we go. Did not partake in any of those shenanigans.
See the police in some of these university cities?
No.
Like Guelph, I think also St. Catharines. Dude, like the police is like, or the cities are declaring states of emergency and getting crazy. Police on there putting curfew.
Well, I mean, Katina Man and Neil went to Laurier, and did you ever party at Laurier?
I went to York.
You guys went to Laurier, right?
You went to men, so they were in the same city.
Yeah, you know what it's like on St. Patrick's Day.
They didn't do this back in the day, though, bro.
Dude, the streets are flooded. One of my buddies was a Golden Hawk. He went to Laurier when I was in school in Guelph, so we'd always been each other, and we would go to each other's houses. And man, Laurier, it's like you can't walk anywhere. People are on the roofs. It's crazy. Guelph is a little bit more tamed, but that one strip in Laurier, I forget what it's called. It's just absolutely insanity. You can't even get anywhere.
What's that university in St. Catharines called?
Brock. Yeah, Brock. Yeah. Brock.
Man,
Brock. I had a buddy that went to Brock as well. A couple buddies went to Brock.
Best party school, Adara? They're a party school.
Western is obviously the best party school.
Yeah, but Western is a good university,
yeah,
too.
Exactly.
If you want law, it's really good.
Yeah.
Dentistry is really good at Western.
Didn't Jay Bieber go? Justin Bieber did a little. I think he did a little spin. Yeah, but yeah, he didn't go.
He's going through some stuff right now.
Yeah,
I've seen videos of him online lately.
Yeah,
it's really breaking my heart, bro.
Yeah,
I know. I think they also condition.
Pardon me.
He has a condition.
Yeah. I think the media also makes him look pretty bad too.
They love to make him look.
Yeah,
bad.
so it may not be as. But he doesn't like facial expressions. He doesn't look too good.
Yeah, it's not. It's tough, man. It's tough.
Really tough
anyway.
luck being it. Well,
So
look at Britney Spears.
why we brought this whole thing into consideration, or into even to talk about it, is like to say that Canadian police are super overzealous right now. I think when it comes to these university parties, it's just like they shut down the entire city. They got cops walking with horses, like basically, you know, it's like riot police out. It's like, calm down, man. These are just university kids for one day, but they do get a little rambunctious.
Do you remember the London riots,
bro?
Do you remember the London riots?
I don't remember.
Oh man, so my buddies were in school at Western and at Fanshawe, and it was St. Patrick's Day, I believe, one year. This is probably close to a decade ago now.
Okay.
And they like flipped the cop car, set it on fire, just complete chaos in the university towns, guys.
Yeah, it'll be a lot different if I had to clean up after these people.
Right?
I might feel a little bit differently.
Right? You'd be on the other side. Like, they were telling me it got crazy. Thank God I wasn't there or anything. But here we go, guys. IBIT continuing to climb higher. We don't got any much left here, guys. About 5% of this position. We'll wait for this higher day, but a really nice trade here on IBIT, Shreve.
All right. Sports and Stonks. I love that name, by the way, dude. The college town I grew up in has its own holiday called Fake Patty's Day that got so out of control, the whole town shut it down.
Yeah.
Hold on. How did they weasel that? Like, what was it? What was it in relation to? I get it. Obviously, it was St. Patty's, but why did they create fake St. Patty's Day? Like, how did that all come about? I'd love to know that story, man. That sounds really interesting. And if you don't mind, if you don't want to share your location and everything, that's completely understandable. But what school did you go to? I'd love to know. Shout out to Sports and Stonks. I definitely love that. All right, guys, I'm looking at ARQQ over here. And the reason I'm looking at ARQQ is because it's at VWAP. So this could be an interesting one here on ARQQ at the volume weighted average price. I see VWAP at 1964. It's showing me 59s on the ask, on the bid, 74s on the ask. So it's at VWAP right now, but it's been a plethora of lower lows and lower highs. This one feels awfully flat bottom breakish with what we know to be a descending wedge, lower highs with that flat bottom. I'm a little concerned punching into this one, quite frankly. I don't mind this one bouncing off VWAP and then giving me proof that it's going to hold up there, and then I could get involved in that one if it does set up in the right way. So that's what I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at ARQQ for a possible long entry. QBTS we're still involved in. Nothing to write home about there. We got a bunch of prints to the high side, but this one now is having trouble taking out the volume weighted average price. And that volume weighted average price now has moved down into 1090. So that's exactly where we're going to take this print right here. Good look there. And then how many more shares do we have? We still got a couple more, so we're going to let this one cook on QBTS. The reason I took it out there is because it's shown its propensity to reject off VWAP now from the south side. It's done that twice on the 1 minute chart. I'm talking about this attempt at VWAP that rejected and another double top over here, again, albeit on the one, at the volume weighted average price, which is 1090. So that's why I'm looking at taking it out there. And then if we clear VWAP, then we can have a discussion above that $11 area. But currently QBTS straddling the volume weighted average price as a resistance level. As I mentioned, I moved up my stop on QBTS from that area low at 1059. So I saw the area low be 1060. So I put it a couple of shekels below that. I've moved it up now into 69. So it will stop me out if we lose that 70 penny level. I'm talking about QBTS. But another one has weaseled its way onto the scene that we knew this morning to be a good small cap gapper. I'm talking about RGC. Now, it's got a fantastic looking pattern. It's up 50% on the day, just printed the day high at 1950. All that is great. So what's not so good about it? Well, it's got a prohibitive spread. And it's really trading lightly. Look at this. I mean, this candle over here had about 75,000 shares, and now we're talking about each 5 minute candle having 4,000 and 5,000 shares. That is just not going to cut it for me. We need to be doing several 100,000 shares per candle here for me to be interested. This one is very light on volume. We haven't printed more than 6 digits of shares since... Bro, this one doesn't have any 5 minute candle that are over 100,000. Since this one, 1040. There has been no 5 minute candle above 100,000 shares traded since 10:40. That's almost 2 hours ago. It's an hour and a half ago almost. So this one, even though it's got a fantastic looking chart pattern, I put my alert there out for the volume weighted average price. I'm not going to trade this given the amount of volume that it has and its prohibitive spread. So RGC, if you're interested, it's doing things, but yeah, definitely not for me at these levels. Let's go back to ARQQ because now it's continuing to hang out at that volume weighted average price. So it hasn't popped up off that VWAP level it's at it. But I'm looking for that first 5-minute candle to make a new high. I'm worried about the flat bottom break coming into fruition here on ARQQ. So the way I'm going to get around that is to wait for a new 5-minute candle to close above the previous candle high. If I get that, at least we can say, okay, maybe area trough here with the new candle making that high. We will see what we get. Let's quickly go back to Affirm. I was waxing poetic, to use an Adair term, at that 47 level. I said I'm going to short up a storm if it goes into $47. Well, this one's having trouble with 46. So it can't even really clear 46 with any vigor in order to even start talking about 47. So AFRM having all sorts of trouble at this $46 level, and it has been for the better part now of 20 minutes or so, kind of putting in a possible rounded top. I want to see what this one does. I mean, because we could take a firm short 46-ish, possibly into 45, where we know we'll encounter support at 45 because it was resistance to no end. That's where I was involved in the short because it was acting as resistance. So if we come back in from 46 into 45 on a firm, I'm probably a buyer. But I don't mind trying to short here if 46 shows that it's going to reject. What are you doing over there?
I'm doing it for Payco, our guy, man. Yeah, he's always, that's all he does. He doesn't say too much in the chat, Payco OR. I just notice him and he's in there all the time. And when he's doing good, he always will just type in the ticker, some dollar bill, some bill signs, and then the rain. So when I see that, I just do that for Payco because he's an OG and just always just contributes when he's doing good. Apple G King, yeah, I was looking at TSLA as well, but the thing is though, I don't want to buy it at the top of this range. I see that you're in from 801. That's a significantly better entry, but we'll pull up and do some TA on what was I thinking? CA, yes. Some CA, some TA on TSLL. So you're in right here at 810, but in order for you to really be wrong, you kind of probably want to hold it till 806 or into the middle of this range or even at the lower end of this range. But then again, if it holds the 798 base, then you can get right back in at a significantly better price. My only issue is that I don't want to chase it at the top running into resistance. I mentioned time and time again that in this environment, when we run into resistance, we seem to be fading quite often. And here we go. We are rejecting that 818 level in TSLL and coming back into the middle of the range. So the risk to reward isn't there for me in order to chase it up. And you can see from a daily standpoint too, that Tesla is really, really weak. And so I'm surprised that the market is holding up as well as it is right now. Now, let's take a look at some of these other big names. What is Meta up to? Haven't talked too much about it. Hopefully it's not down 6% like Tesla, but okay, here down about 1.25 here, guys, is Meta. See what our friend Goggles is up to as well. But see, that's the thing, Sharif, and I was talking about it last week. You've seen that the Mag 7 got a relative bounce in the market, and then everything, all the indices followed. Some of the moving averages followed, right? But now that they're weak, we're seeing some more chop around. But you also mentioned today, you're like, Joe, the Mag 7 isn't trading higher, so why is it trading in the first half an hour of the session?
Dang.
Why is it outperforming everything? Well, that's where market breadth comes into play, and some of these mid caps were trading half decently well. So yeah, that's a good look. I know some people asked us to take a look at CRM and CrowdStrike. We will do that momentarily. Yeah, okay, Kiri, yeah, I guess I had a CA, TA, same thing. But yeah, guys, let me know if you're looking at anything in specific. Laser, we can go over some Austin Powers real quick. Laser. Laser. Let's pull up LAZR.
Giant freaking
Lasers. What does he say?
Freaking lazy.
Yeah, what does he say? He's like, yeah, $100 million, and they're like, it's not that much,
1
doctor.
million.
Yeah.
It's like,
He's
yo,
like, yeah,
bro,
it's not that much. Yeah, it's like it's not
Calm
that
down.
much. He's like $100 billion. I
love it. 100 fajillion. Oh, Dr. Abel, this is 1969. That money doesn't even exist, bro. I love that movie, bro.
Exactly.
I love that
That's
movie.
funny. But here, Luminar Technologies, that's a classic, man. They don't make those like cult classics anymore. Bang, siren for Shreve. We'll zoom out here a little bit, guys. It's not looking too good here on lasers. So yeah, we're not going to get too deep into this one. I wouldn't want to be owning this from a daily perspective. You can see that we're not breaking out. So yeah, this isn't working. You're not going to get the nod from me on that. Tesla seems relatively strong, and we're continuing to climb higher here, guys. And IBIT, I'm all out of that trade. A nice VWAP hold. We now broke through that high day. Let's see if we can continue in this breakout and go positive, Shreve.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, baby.
Sorry. We got the fill there at the 1110 level on QBTS. So my inclination that the money fills were below VWAP. For the moment, we're right underline that for the moment. This one is kind of, I feel this one might be breaking down. All right, it's putting in lower highs, got higher lows, so it's a bit of a compression pattern, but the trend that preceded the compression pattern is a downtrend, even though it's still up 8.5% on the day. Let's see which way the cookie crumbles. I'm all done with this trade. I'm talking about QBTS. There was a level there that I liked at 75, punch long 75, took it out there in front of 1110s. Now, we're involved in a new trade. We're back in, believe it or not, like a psycho on QNTM. Wet the beak there. Get it, Adara. Wet the beak there. Where am I long? 797s. We wet it there at 807 for a 10 penny winner. Now I'm waiting at 15s, and then I'm waiting at 25s. I'm talking about QNTM. The quantum name, within my humble submission, the best ticker in the business for quantum. I mean, it's QNTM, not QBTS or some other derivative there. So this is the one I'd want if I was a quantum name, and they've got it, baby. And they're up 63% and change, but they're going to have to hold above, number one, the volume weighted average price, and number two, I would love, just love, if it can clear 8 and use 8 as support. It is not doing that. It has not been doing that. In fact, it's had a lot of trouble staying above 8, which is why I've layered my orders for any price spikes into the high side. Now, this one doesn't have a prohibitive spread, much like some of these other ones that we've talked about today. RGC included, ARQQ included in that conversation. However, it doesn't have the best spread either. So it can be like right now, 7 pennies at times. That's not great on an $8 name. That's printed about 4.5 million shares, 4.25 million shares. And, you know, it hasn't been print in volume for all that long. This one started popping up about 20 after 12. So it's a trade de novo, a new trade. It was not trading in the pre-market. So let's see if this one is able to catch a bid. It's kind of putting in higher lows from what I see here on the 5. And here we go. Now we're waiting at 15s. It's showing me 10s. Do we get the print? Bang! We get the print. Let's see up here. Now we're waiting at the $0.25. Give me that print. Bang! The $0.25. So QNTM to the high side. Now it's got 847 high a day. We still haven't cleared that high day, baby. So I'm going to be looking very closely here for that 847 break and take, and then I will use that $8.50 level as an area support once we take it. That's if we take it. So keeping an eye here on QNTM. Definitely interested in weaseling back into this bad boy, Joseph, if it does set up in the right way.
Yeah, nice look there, guys. The IBIT is continuing to climb higher. We broke through that high a day, guys, and the volume being sustained. That's a really positive note. So now trading at 47.80, you're never going to be satisfied with the trades, but I can't really complain. We got the VWAP hold, and then we got the majority of this leg higher, and then as you can see, we breached that high a day here on IBIT, especially after all this choppy mess. I was like, let me risk the low here. So let's do this from a risk to reward standpoint. All right, let me pull out my old trusty tool and see what we got cooking up. We want to make that a little bit lower. All right, so you can see this is one risk unit here. All right, so from here to here, one risk unit. Okay, so that's a couple cents. So we're in at 35s, and it's 10 cents. So you go from 35 all the way to 70s. So that's a 4-to-1 essentially there, guys. Right, with the risk 1, 2, 3, 4. I know, sorry for the pencil mess, but that's kind of the general idea. Can we get heavier? Always. That's the intention. Eventually, we'll definitely get there. But I like what Katina Man was telling me last week. He's just like, in order to break through barriers, you just need to punch through them and continue to just level up. So took that to heart, took that to mind. Especially when I was referring to you guys on my walk, I was just like, all right, what do you got to do to break through those barriers? Is just continue to push, continue to trade, and that's the name of the game. So yeah, good look there. How was lunch, Katina Man? Yeah, did you have the jerk chicken or no? This a little, all right, we'll season it up a little bit, some more salt maybe on the old salmon. I got some salmon in the freezer, maybe we'll fry it, but I'm pretty sure it's not Tuesday, but we're gonna throw up the fajitas this evening. So if you're ever curious what's for dinner, we're gonna go with the steak fajitas. Oh, Joe, she told me steal the what, don't take the what's for lunch, so we're not doing the what's for dinner. But yeah, nice look here on IBIT, guys. So Junior Fuentes, what do you think the market will look like for the rest of the week? Great question, Junior. I really, really like this question. And I'm going to do something that I feel extremely comfortable with, all right? So for the rest of the week, what am I going to do here, Junior? Let's pull up the options chain and see what the market is telling us, okay? I think because that is a really good and highly respected indicator, all right? So let's go to this week's expiration cycle, which would be March 21st, 4 days from now. And let's see what the market might be pricing in. So what do I see from an open interest standpoint? 485 on the call side. Okay, 485 on the call side is the most open interest that I see on this weekly expiration cycle with 24,200 open contracts right now. Ooh, what? I like this a lot, Sharif.
What happened?
What do we have on the put side? What happening? What happening? 480 with 48,000 open contracts. Now let's take a look at the lows here on the day. Where is 480? Right here. We did breach that down to 477. We got to take that low into account because it wasn't as respected as I thought it would be. But 485, I think that could be in play here sometime this week in the overall market. Let's see if that comes into play. Still waiting for this oversold bounce here, guys. Is that starting to come into factor? I think so. We're up about 4% off of those lows. A nice bounce, not necessarily something that we would be looking for. We want a little bit stronger of a recovery. Are we going to get that? A lot of analysts say we're not going to get that bounce that we're looking for. We still have those headwinds in place. Q1, I think, is going to be really big from an earnings standpoint, and I think that's going to dictate where we go in the future here in these markets.
All right, we're just keeping an eye on a firm still because it's kind of doing that $46 dance, very similar to the dance that it did at 45, where it just kind of gets into the level quite vigorously on the way up to that level, and then once it gets to that level, just kind of consolidates a little above 46, a little bit below. I don't want to be quick to jump into the short here and get bamboozled, right? Because kind of that's what happened with the 45 short. We ended up being profitable on it, but we never got the breakdown that we were looking for, at least that I was looking for. I can't speak for anybody else, but I'm keeping an eye on this 46 level. It's been quite consolidative here, but what I notice is not by much, we do technically have higher lows. Each successive candle a little bit higher than its predecessor, not much in the way of higher highs though. In addition to that, watch how the book and the tape trade. Once we dip below that 46, is it being met with aggressive buying? In the sense that, do you see a whole lot of green, a whole lot of orange come in on the time in sales? When we do dip in below that 46, that usually means hidden buyers are picking this up. Because look, the level 2 shows me nothing on any gateway of any discernible size. And trust me, I've got all the gateways, right? Shout out to Real Dang Trading. They've given me all of them. So I should be able to see all these gateways if there is a size or if there is substantial size posted at any level. And there isn't. So, this has me feeling where we got hidden buyers propping this up below 46, maybe in a similar way, if not the same way, as we were being propped up propped up above that $45 level. So this one does feel kind of, bullish in that sense. So that's kind of my thinking there. Now, I've weaseled into another trade over here. I'm talking about QNTM. I'm punching it at highs, and I realize that's kind of not my thing. We already wet the beak there through the break of 50. We're long 45s. I took out some at 56. The next level I'm waiting at is 63. Just the front run, or not front run, actually, for the high day break. It is it's an 860 right now, high of day. I've given this to 20s, so it's gonna have to hold up above 20. If it doesn't, then I've got the trade wrong. I'm taking half the size I took initially, and I've got even less because we did wet the beak there. So QNTM, I'm trying to take this continuation trade. I don't want to give it too much in the way of room, and I'm not gonna dollar cost average into it. It just doesn't have enough volume. What? Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. So this is perfect timeout time now. We can definitely take a timeout for this.
Yeah,
so give us a little bit of a backstory, just like the whole thing.
It's actually, okay, yeah, for sure. All right, so yeah, we'll do a little sneak peek. So it's funny, one day Selena and I were at Farm Boy, and there's this lady sitting.
Tell them what that is first.
Farm Boy is a grocery store, okay? So it's a local grocery store here in Canada, kind of like your Sobeys, whatever it may be. So we're sitting in, we're coming out, and there's this lady sitting with a Dachshund in the lobby. Selena goes, where did you get this puppy? And she says, this lady on Instagram. Selena goes, oh, wow, I follow her.
So she already knew about her. So Selena already knew about
this breeder. Yeah, breeder. She knew about the breeder before, and then was like, oh, okay, just keeping an eye out. And then she sends me this picture. She's like, I want a Dachshund. I'm like, wait till the summer. And then she sends me this picture. And the caption is what got me, all right? It's like, unfortunately, my puppy parents had some health issues and won't be able to get this guy, so he's looking for his forever home. Please DM me. I seen the eyes. I seen the caption. I said, email her.
Over.
And see what's going.
Katina Man's like, it was already over
It was essentially over. So we had the meeting with the breeder on Friday via Zoom or whatever it was, and then we locked in this little guy that I believe we're gonna call Milo. So
I love it.
Yeah, he's cute. I don't know him yet. Hopefully he's not a pain in my rear end. But that's okay. He's a little baby. The thing is though, you can't stay mad at these eyes, right? Like that's the big issue. Is like, okay, and I'm already freaking out because I'm like,
hey, I'm pumped for this,
so,
dude. That's sick, man.
That's it. He's cute. A cute little guy.
Are you gonna do? So have you thought about this? Are they gonna be?
Training for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So is it diapers or is it outside?
Yeah. Puppy training. We're not gonna do diapers. We're gonna take them outside. Just get them comfortable with always going outside. None of that balcony garbage, obviously, due to like with condos and everything along those lines.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean,
just obedience and manners is really what we're aiming towards, right? Especially with puppies. And like obviously everybody has that one friend who has a dog, and as soon as you open the front door, it's gone. Like it doesn't live a good life, and it's just like on to the next. It's like where are you going? You're fed, you're loved, and everything like that. So where are you really going? Yeah. So I was never about that.
I love that, bro. I love it. And do you have any dog parks in the area?
Yeah, they're close. Yeah, like I'm in Liberty, right? So there's a dog park on every corner. But he's little, so we don't want him getting around too big of dogs yet. Told Selena, you got to be careful of the coyotes as well, just in case you're walking.
Man, what the hell? Liberty Village is the last place you'd expect for there to be coyotes.
Coyotes,
but they had
everywhere,
entire news story. People, one lady was walking her little, I don't know what it was, it was a
little dog.
Yeah.
So now the little dogs are wearing spike jackets. Yeah, I know.
It took it from when she wasn't looking. She had it on a longer leash, and it got
just sniped it.
That's
crazy. It's really sad. So now you got to get all the spiked jackets and everything like that.
That's the move against the coyotes
the spiked jackets,
that's
right?
Brilliant.
So yeah, but he's just like he's probably already this big, and I don't think he's gonna get any heavier than 6-7 pounds. So it's just
long
like,
and
he's gone. Yeah, exactly. He'll be gone in an instant if a coyote.
Man, I'm excited for you, bro.
Yeah, appreciate that.
I love my dogs. I don't know what I would do though. My dog's I'm so fixed in my life and my routine and everything around my dog.
So
I get paranoid when I'm late because they gotta eat.
It's gonna add to the environment too, right? It's like a kind of like a little live ornament running around the house all the time and stuff. So yeah, we'll have
love to hear it, bro. Love to hear it.
It's IBIT, man. Look at this. I'm all out of it now, Sharif. But just nice breakout. Broke through that high a day here, and then that volume really stepped in. Yeah, I didn't have any shares left to hold on through this break. break, but it's trading really nice here.
Good look there, man.
Yeah.
We're still involved in QNTM, break even on it right now. It's zigging, it's zagging. We've got one beak wet there through the break of the $0.5. I'm looking for a continuation, guys. We'll see if we get it. I've given it a super tight stop. I just won't give it to anything below 820, so it's going to have to hold up at this 820 area. I'm looking for the next print there above the high of the day at 62s. The current high is 60. D-Loaf, tell Joe not to bring him to dog parks until he gets all his shots.
Yeah, exactly.
So fair, yeah. Obviously for the safety of your own dog as well, and then for the safety of others. Yeah, that's what kind of what I do. Adira,
Maybe
what do
we'll
you got?
I have a lot of comments coming through about the economy right now in the market from Caroline Levitt, repeating her comments once again that what Main Street and Wall Street will be happy with the actions of President Donald Trump. But she did actually, interestingly enough, cite the CPI. Around when we got that note on the CPI, the market pushed higher. So she said, basically, the CPI we got last week, in addition to lower egg prices, show that inflation is going down. So these comments came out. She also said, though, with regards to tariffs, that anything is on the table and that April 2nd will continue to be a big day. As Donald Trump has said previously, that's when we're going to be getting those reciprocal tariffs. So some tariff talk and CPI talk here from Caroline Levitt. Back to you.
All right, we just popped into the high of the day there on the ask on QNTM. I didn't get the fill because it didn't cross. We're above the $0.5. It showed me 62s on the ask. Here it is again. It's showing me 60s now at the ask. Let's see if they're size. They're size at 60 over here. So there's about a few hundred lots, but none of them are getting taken out. That means that hidden seller is definitely selling up a storm in front of that. None of those lots are getting taken out, man. We keep zigging down from 60 into 58, 59. So I'm going unprinted here on QNTM, but you know, we're really close to the high. So I'm gonna leave my order exactly where it is. I'm not gonna move it down. I've layered my order above that as well for that 75 spike. If we do get a 75 penny spike, the current high is 60. We're still rejecting 60. That is technically still the high. We're hanging out at these levels. So I'm trying not to paper hand this trade and take it out a little bit too early, but you always are concerned is what if that's the top and we don't printing higher? Here's 60 again. Look at us, not taking any size off 60 right now. So that 60 penny level, a line in the sand at least seems for the moment on QNTM, unable to break through it. Here we go again, showing 60s again. No, nothing breaking this time. So, all right, bit of a tougher look there, and then we reject, come back down into 50s, true to form. Kind of not surprised by that. I'm going to pack my patience here for QNTM, see if we can get anything above that. I won't take it up below that. Simple as that. I'd rather get stopped out. Wow. Okay, Affirm. Thankfully, I did not short at 46. Affirm is almost at 47, and I've got my order that's about to trigger. Sorry, not order. Alert. 46.75. That's what I put my my alert at. We are very close to the technical high of the day. The technical high of the day is 79, despite the fact that we were above that in the pre-market. So great strength right now on AFRM. Coming into 47 is not quite there yet. 46.75 HOD on that bad boy. Back to QNTM, still rejecting 60, but it is putting in higher lows. So if I'm looking for a reason to stay involved, it is that buyers are buying this QNTM, that is, at higher and higher levels on every successive dip. Does that continue forever and ever more? Likely not. I'm just trying to put the odds on my side here, waiting for that pop into the level. We are not getting it quite yet on QNTM. A bit of a tougher look there. What the hell? This market recovered, bro.
Big time.
This market recovered bigly. Right now, let's bring in, yeah, we're not going to bring these ones in. Oh, come on, QNTM, you little. Okay, let's bring in the site charts over here, the Mag 7. All right, we're getting great strength right now in the Mag 7. There's none of them that are at the high of the day quite yet. You've got Softy looking like it's the closest one to that high of the day. I'm talking about the middle top one over here. 390.31 high a day. We're at 389.50 at the moment. So this one's coming a little bit closer than the others. You've got some other ones that are predictable levels. Meta, VWAP. Who else is at VWAP? Goggles is at VWAP as well. Tesla working close to VWAP. Nvidia too weak. It can't even get to VWAP. That's all despite the market, the NQ itself, well above VWAP. So it is not the Mag 7. That is for dang sure that's lifting up this market today. I will not be convinced otherwise. This is the look at the actual NQ March contract itself. Bringing that in here. Here's the volume weighted average price at 19,721. We're almost 100 points above that in the price action. Not quite, we're close. And yet, there's only one stock of the 7 that's actually trading above VWAP, that's Microsoft. That's why I said to Joseph today, or to be fair, Apple's above VWAP as well, but not that much. I said to Joseph, I'm like, it doesn't feel like it is the Mag 7 today that are carrying this market. At least it didn't feel that way in the morning, and certainly does not feel that way right now. I've got to tell you the truth. So we'll have to see exactly how this all ends up. But
nice trade there though on QNT.
Yeah, we're still waiting for the print though, bro. I mean, we got initially there, and this is my 3rd attempt at it. We'll see if we can print on this one, but having all sorts of trouble with 60 pennies here, Joseph. Not sure what the hell is going on. Who's selling up a storm at 60 pennies? But it really right now is the story of the NQ. The NQ just took out 19.8, guys. Great look right now on the NQ March contract. The overnight high is that level that we printed at 940 this morning, 19,847. So basically a 50-point rejection. We are at local highs right now, having recovered below VWAP. Great look off the 200, it seems here. Exponential on the 5, and up we go. So maybe we'll close at highs and things can be a little green today. We'll see. The Bomba. I love that name, bro. The Bomba. 555. $10 super chat, my man dropping cash in the chat. Wow, should have held TTD. What's TTD doing? You're gonna make me feel bad about myself here. Let's have a look at, oh, that's what it's doing. Good look there. Shout out to you, my man. That's a good look on the trade desk. Again, I only got into this trade here for the VWAP dip at 55s, and here it goes, almost into 56. Shout out to you. Good call out there on TTD. It's a big boy move. It's about to take out day's high, guys. That day high is 56. We're at 97s right now. So great strength on trade desk today. Let's see if it can continue with the overall market really heading to the high side here. Joseph, what do you got on your side?
Good look there. A lot of people in the chat are calling out Acon. It's going to break through $1. I know you used to trade that as well too, Sharif. So I don't know if you would be interested in where Acon, where Acon is sitting right there, right at VWAP as the convict himself starts to climb higher. But one thing, I'm going to get to Costco for you, Caleb, in just 1 second, but I like how Sharif was just talking about market breadth. So what do? These are the first names that I kind of look at, like CrowdStrike. You can see that we're climbing higher and higher, up 20% off of those previous lows, which is a really good look for this market and a good sign for potential bounce. And then CRM as well too, putting in another day. Really, even though they're in different spaces, just identical like price action prints here, guys. So you can see that we're putting in that ascending wedge, constructing higher lows throughout that with that flat top, and then you just break through it with momentum. Volume kicks in, and then you punch through the high day as well too. So a good look on some names that we don't necessarily trade every single day. Now, okay, that's what I was going to do. I'm going to look for Costco. You guys know where I stand on Costco. I think with Staples, I think this is one of the better companies, obviously, for sure. Really good look. Bouncing off of these lows here. 880 was that local low here, Sharif. Now trading up about 4% from that bottom. I do believe it can recover because we are down from peak to trough, from that high point to this low point, 18%. So I would look for a bounce, holding some nice support, some key support levels. If it does want to make another leg, I would look for 863 to hold and then look to get in on those longs. Let's take a look at Walmart because it is strong as well today. So nice look here on Walmart around 87.44. With that 20% retracement, now up a couple percent off of those lows, which is a really good look for a nice rebound. But the thing is, though, guys, I want you, and I want to see what you guys think in the chat. Is this bounce going to be sustained? Yes or no? It's that simple. Is it going to be sustained? Yes or no? I'm going to be in the latter camp. I do believe that this is just a short-term breath. I could obviously be wrong, maybe a hot take as well, maybe not so much. But again, I would want to see some more bottoming signals that would say, hey, the selling is done and we're ready for a longer sustained bounce. This is me just thinking, hey, we're going to take a breath in the market. You get that pullback on lower volume, and then you continue to chop around a little bit east-west. And then, and I like what Michael Noss said as well, too. I think he thinks that the market is going to close on the year up or down 2 or 3%. I think that's a really good good take on that front, considering we have been trading higher significantly for the past 2 years, and every dip was bought. I don't think it's the same scenario in this case, nor is it the same market environment.
Fair enough, man. QNTM got stopped out for the remaining amount. It did dip below 820, so we ended up getting stopped out there for the last remaining amount of shares. I was able to de-risk a little bit, but that seller in front of 60 is just too strong for too long for me to be able to hold out. But the most important aspect of this whole trade is that I got my stop very wrong in terms of placement. So I placed it based upon where I could, basically take max tolerance and not give up a whole lot, but that didn't jive with the price action support and resistance, especially with the 10 exponential being awfully close to where I got stopped out. It's at the 10 exponential right now. It's holding the 10 exponential. Let's see if it does or doesn't, and then what happens at that $8 level. So I feel a little bit like I didn't trade this one as well as I would have liked to, especially on the last little piece. Still positive on it, still positive on the day. So we'll see exactly if we can extract some more profits here with about 13 minutes left onto the show. A lot of people are answering no to your question there. So that's actually quite interesting. I like what Raheel brings up there, Raheel Anwar, because MU earnings coming up. I have no idea what you're answering, Raheel, but what I wanted to talk about with Micron was its importance as kind of an adjacent play for NVIDIA. Why is that? Because all these different huge AI servers that are being put together by super microcomputer, Dell, HPE, and being sold to these hyperscalers all include DRAM or high bandwidth memory, HBM, right? And one of the biggest makers of high bandwidth memory, obviously is Micron, as well as SK Hynix. SK Hynix not traded in North America, at least not for my knowledge. It is a South Korean company, whereas Micron is here, so we can kind of always keep tabs on how it's doing. And so one of the things that sold off really aggressively in the second half of 2024 certainly was Micron. And the reason was the street basically was predicting that people had overvalued its worth or its price given its kind of adjacent look to NVIDIA. So this was a big move up that we had. Let's look at 24. How did 24 treat Micron? Well, let's take the first trading day, January 2nd, and take it to the high. Well, we were up almost 100% on Micron. That is until June 20th came in. And then all hell broke loose to the downside. From the high there, up almost into 160, to the low that we put in after, we lost almost 50% of the value, basically coming right back into those January highs, right? Or January lows, I should say. Now, the point is that Micron, since that big move up and then the move down, has been caught in one hell of a range here on the daily chart. There is a whole bunch of buying. Anytime Micron comes into 85, you don't need to be a chartered market technician to see this, that's for sure. MU has all sorts of aggressive buying at that $85 area with equal amounts of selling at around 110, 110 bucks. Most prints, they'll reject at around 110. There are some prints that go a little bit higher than 110, but that's normal. It's a $100 name. So the point is, Micron being caught in a bit of a range here. And if I had to choose, it feels like a bit of a bearish range. And here's why I say that. Because each successive crest, if you look at the area crest, and they're really easy to spot, is not all that much lower than its predecessor, but it is in fact lower. If you were to take the area crest at September of last year as your starting point, then the one in October a little bit lower, kind of a little bit lower than the one in November, certainly lower than the one in December, and then the one in January also a little bit lower, not by much, and then February also a little bit lower. So it feels like we are bouncing off 85 consistently, but we're not able to kind of make that same high to the high side of the range as we are to the downside. So Micron certainly locked in a bit of a range. I would say, again, $110 to the high side, 85 to the low side. I want to see if their earnings can actually take them away above or beyond this range that we've been in, guys, essentially, since August of last year. That August 5th bottom, the unwind of the yen carry trade, that took us into the low of 85, did actually get defended. on the day, and then we pop back up into, you guessed it, 110. And we have been doing that 85, 110 since last August, so over 6 months now of a range on Micron. I want to see what the earnings bring for this bad boy, especially if it can break above that 110 and then maybe catch a bit of a bid. So yeah, keep your eye out on that. I'm going to be listening to the commentary, obviously, on the call to see what they have to say about HBM demand, especially from, you know, other people trying to get involved in the advanced AI chips, not just Nvidia's AMD buying. Are there any others buying? If there are, how far down the line? What do they look for full year 2025? We know that Blackwell is coming out soon, or already began shipping, I think. So yeah, lots of different unanswered questions for me. And I think it's very appropriate too that they report during NVIDIA's conference. That GTC conference is taking place all week today with Jensen. Funny enough, going to do the keynote tomorrow on the second day. Don't really know what's up with that, but that's how they scheduled it. And then the 20th, so 3 days from now, we're going to have Quantum Day. NVIDIA's Quantum Day. So we're going to have to see what NVIDIA has to say about that, because Jensen single-handedly was responsible for the downturn in quantum after we had that big run-up after the election. So we'll see. Yeah, get it, Jensen. Adara's pumping Jensen on.
Easy.
Any infographics that for the GTC conference? They're working on. Well, I knew you were up to something over there. I knew you were up to something. So stand by for Trader TV infographic for GTC, courtesy of Adara Dang LePage. Get it, Adara. Oh, that was perfect.
Continuing to climb higher in these markets, Sharif. The SPY a little bit stronger than the Qs as we punch through the high day. Good luck on that one. We hit the 2-to-1 on the Playmaker poll, so good luck on that front, my peeps. And then, yeah, continuing to climb higher in the TQs. I wanted to get involved into it, hesitation. So there you go. I hesitated on the shot, and it didn't work out. But the RGTI, looking like it wants to break out, but we've done our attempts on this. So this is what we have on the day here, guys. This IBIT trade, nice little trade right there. Then let's go through what we got going on RGTI. I appreciate that, brother. We still haven't got the Get It animation. So we
bro.
But here we go. So two. So there's 1 for 1, 1 for 2 there on the RGTI, and then QBTS NY. And then this is where we shot about 50% on this one. The second half, it just didn't work. You could see that we took an attempt here, didn't work. Once again, took another attempt and then took this one out. And then it just slammed, liquidity grabbed, and then climbed higher. But these were the nicer trades in the earlier hours of the session. You can see that we put in this triple bottom type price action, and then we climbed higher. So entry 1, add, now you're at full risk, and then boom, 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 you just scale out as you go. And then we got some... When it go bum bum bum,
yeah. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
But yeah, nice look there, guys. I hate it when I do that, point at the screen that you guys can see. But here we go, out there and then out a little bit more there. So IBIT, one of the better continuous trades on the session, and that's okay. This is what we want to see. But Sharif, we got a $10 super chat. All it says from Brian Herman, thank you, no, thank you, much appreciated, my friend. And I don't think we got a lot of money for these the super chat that we need to give.
On Friday.
Did we decide what we're gonna eat or anything along those lines? What is the crew feeling like? Ram, what do you want? What do you feel like for food?
We got a whole bunch of super chats on Friday.
For the food.
And so we didn't really spend any of the money. Katina Man just got us a bunch of coffees, but that was like a fraction of what it was, of what the actual
we got the chicken wing type money this time again. We got like $100.
We're talking about food for Friday to order. That burger one.
But you know, I have a good idea. I have a good idea here, Sharif.
Go.
We should let the people decide. We give them 4 options. We toss the poll up, and then that's what we're gonna have for Friday lunch.
But how do we narrow it down? We can narrow it down to 4, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we can see who can send it to it. Oh, we can send it in there. So what do? Do pizza? Okay, they can send it to us. All right, so that is what we're going to do. We're going to let the people decide. Well, I'm saying this. We got to let Katina Man confirm this. The people are going to decide what we are going to eat on Friday.
I don't mind that at all.
I think that's a good idea.
Poll on Friday
we can do
instead
a
of one of the
poll on
polls.
Friday. Exactly, and we toss up a pizza poll or something. Let's see what Adair's up to.
Sharif, you asked if I had any graphics here for the upcoming GTC event, and I forgot I made this last week, didn't get to post it, so here it is today, and it's one I think you'd like here. If you did not know it, Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang and AMD CEO Lisa Su were actually first cousins once removed. So what I wanted to do here is I wanted to take a look at how their company's revenue growth has basically happened since Lisa Su took over as AMD CEO in 2014. So you can see here, they really wrestled for a little bit here. Then in 2022, you really start to see them veer off. We have Jensen Huang's Nvidia pushing sharply to the upside as AMD is a little bit more flatter, more static. So take a look at this on X at TTV Research. Just post it right now. Back to you.
I love it. I just wonder why Lisa's smiling. Adara, her stock got shellacked last year.
That's
but
when
you know,
too
she's
much
a good sport about it, though.
Do you think she could ever lose her job? You think she can? How?
I don't know how she was CEO over the year. That's not really the point. The point. She was.
Yeah,
it happened. It's over. I mean, her stock got destroyed in 24.
Right.
She's a hell of a person, though. I mean, if you look at the stock price when she took over versus where it's at now, she's added plenty of value. I just don't think it was the right year to give her.
The previous 23 into 24 would be the ideal year to give it to her, right?
Yeah. So I'm all about that, but. I want to talk quickly here. We got a couple of more minutes. So, Joseph, you know I'm kind of looking at getting rid of the Jag.
Oh, stop. Right? So now we're
looking at possibly getting rid of the Jag. But I haven't emotionally committed to the sale yet.
The process.
But you got to explore and see what's out there. Right? If you're going to get rid of the car, we're going to need to see. So I'm an SUV guy.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to like a lot more these sedan wagons.
Yeah. They're sick.
I was never this kind of guy. I'm going to tell you the truth. I thought they were super lame. They were like dad cars.
No, these are
I'm the age of a dad, not a dad. But the point is, I'm getting into my dad phase. I'm sorry, Katina, man. No problem. He's like, half kids tomorrow. Oh, bro, so do my parents. Trust me, I get heat all the time. A little musclehead guy coming with biceps on his head.
Puts a little creatine in the bottle.
What's wrong with a little creatine in the milk bottle?
Yeah.
A little BCAAs. Not a big deal.
We get them out there, nice. Yeah, that's funny.
But I'm actually looking.
Give us the side view of this here, Sharif.
Yeah, we're going to go into that in a second. There they are. There's the OGs.
There they are.
We're looking at the Taycan wagon here,
I like it, man. I like that.
And if we can put this up on the screen, there we go.
There we go.
So let's show the side view. I'm really liking this car. Number one, it's electric. Ooh. So this is a Porsche Taycan, which I kind of felt was the bite of the Panamera.
Okay.
It was
exactly. I love
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I love the Panamera.
It was their version of an EV Panamera. Nice. And Joseph,
what year is this?
It's got screens up the yin yang.
What year is this?
I think it's 21 or 22.
Okay,
We're going to have a look in a second.
Right.
But they're one screen, two screen.
3 screen.
Hold on. There's more. Wait. Show yourself screen. 4 screen, 5 screen. So it's got screens up the wazoo,
up the yin.
Joseph.
Yeah.
The passenger has her own screen. It's supposed to be all very cool. They're very nice. I'm showing you a really basic one. I don't like this color. To be very frank.
Oh, I like these candy paint colors. You don't like the gray and the beige?
I don't mind this. But give it to me on like a black interior. No, I don't want that cream.
And you got to
obviously,
you got to black out the windows.
You got to black out. No question.
Yeah,
and the wheels.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
The wheels have to get blacked out as well. But what I'm genuinely trying to tell you right now is I might start sniffing around one of these sports wagons. Which wagon I end up getting. So the beautiful thing is you have the practicality of the SUV and the kind of driving dynamics of a sedan, right? And so that's kind of what I'm sniffing around right now. The Porsche Taycan definitely up there on my list. Randy's very happy about that. He thinks it's a hell of a car. So anything else? Connie, pull up the Audi R6, brah. Yeah, I know about that Avant, baby. I know about the Avant. That's a badass car. A little too pricey. And it's a nice engine. We're going to have to look for something a little bit cheaper. But Joseph, it's now 2 o'clock, past 2 o'clock.
Jerk chicken time, man.
Oh, I'm down with that.
Let's go.
Before we send them off, $1.99 super chat, Mr. C. Can you check H is a bull flag or no? We're going to do that for you. Sorry. quickly over here before we send you to the big kahunas. I do apologize for that, guys. We're going to check here for our man there, Mr. C. Yes, that does look like a bull flag pattern. It's dropping on volume, though. Make sure you're picking it up towards the low end of the range. In addition to that, it seems to be respecting price action, resistance, and support. So it pops up into here. 125 is the top. And now, lo and behold, it's using 125 as support. Let me know how it goes. I hope you print up multiple storms. But it is now time to send you the big kahunas. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad time.
Chicken. All right. Oh.
Joe, honestly, man, like this, all this jerk chicken talk is like we got some dried up salmon. Like I'm about to put like.
You're thinking of
I'm about putting a request in. Like I don't understand
changing
why.
to the normal lunch?